Hello there.
Hello.
Thanks for joining. Whoever's here. I see.
on
I
this one
see.
on this wonderful Wednesday night.
I see Dirk is here.
Yeah, Dirk's chilling.
And that is really all we need to have a successful, productive night.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
anyone else is more than welcome.
Who else would? Do we have anyone else in chat?
I don't know. You're frozen already, Doug. Didn't take long for that to happen.
Awesome. Off to
After a
start.
rousing start. The technical glitches never cease to go away.
I was just gonna ask if he got a new piece of technology yet. I'm guessing no.
That'd be a big old no.
Get them Patreon funds. Buy Doug a new computer.
Yeah, right.
Oh my god.
I just don't know why it just started happening
Well,
a month
probably
ago or 2 months ago.
bandwidth. I mean, it takes a shit ton to do video chat on Discord, so it's probably something to do with that. I don't know if it's your computer.
Thinking it's the RAM,
Well, what are you using?
but I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it'd be your
A
video card.
tablet?
Or your internet. It looks like your internet because
Yeah.
your voice lags out and everything too. So
Yeah, I don't think it's the actual device. I think it's your internet.
could be the device though.
As well.
You're not running on something that's like.
That though, could the device affect the internet speed?
No. Well,
Mm,
are you?
I mean, every
Wi-Fi. Are you using Wi-Fi? And
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, this is rousing. Want to get this going?
Running like a couple.
Doug is delayed.
All right. Let's give him a minute.
Yeah, it's really bad. I'm like 3 or 4 seconds delayed.
With hearing things?
no, this is gonna be a blast.
Yeah. Why is there a delay now with hearing us?
I can hear you, I think, in real time. You guys just can't hear me.
I mean, we could hear you. I don't know how delayed it is. It just comes in choppy for me.
Yeah. Same.
Yep.
I'm assuming it's recording choppy as well.
No, because all the recording, well, the audio, no. The video, will be choppy.
Whatever. Just throw a Photoshop of Doug on, or as Doug said, throw a Photoshop of Doug on the frozen poster.
Oh,
over
that's
his face,
yeah, that's what I've been doing.
and then we can just get rocking and rolling. All right, we good?
Yeah, I'm good.
JP, you good?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Should be fine.
Doug, you good?
Doug.
You're as good as it's gonna get tonight. Fuck it.
Yeah, I'd say let's let it rip, Murph.
Let's do it.
Just fucking go into it. Oh,
There you go.
I just heard Doug.
Yeah, I gotta laugh at him. Here we go. Welcome to Live Breathe Film, episode 46. You're here with Corey, Doug, somewhat Doug, JP, and Murph. Thanks as always for joining us. Today we're going to be discussing the first film in our new Live Breathe Film Club, Bottle Rocket by Wes Anderson. So that pun name that I came up with is so clever that I couldn't even get off the tongue. But before we get to that, let's run through some news, a ton of new trailers, and share some thoughts on Fear Street Part 1, the first of that new trilogy on Netflix, F9, the most ridiculous of the Fast and Furious movies, Luca, the new Pixar film, and Loki's middle slash stretch run leading up to the finale. So we're going to cover episodes 3 through 5. We will take a break before we cover episode 5 since it only just aired today. So if you're worried about spoilers, don't, because we will give you a heads up. But let's get into news. So box office, we've got the pool going. We had a big opening for JP with F9, his first film of the summer. It had a $70 million opening, which has been the biggest of 2020 and 2021 combined. So congrats, JP, for that pick. After weekend 2, it has a running total of 132 million. He also had Boss Baby Family Business, which had a $16 million opening. So that bumped him up all the way from $0 to 130 million since our last episode, and he is now in second place.
Yeah.
So
I
that
had a feeling.
was
I had a
quick
feeling
jump.
that he was gonna jump that quick.
Yeah. He's right above you now, Corey.
Yeah,
You have
by a
100
couple
and
million.
128 million for your three piece of The Conjuring 3, Peter Rabbit 2, and Hitman Life's Bodyguard.
I still can't believe Conjuring is still churning in. I mean, a little bit amount of money, but still as much as it has been. I was kind of surprised it didn't
Yeah,
drop
we had a
completely.
decent holds from Peter Rabbit and Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard, it looked like. They're pulling in. I mean, I think they both have around 30 million each.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, JP still has some big heavy hitters with
Rock.
Jungle
Yeah, exactly. With Jungle Cruise, he wasn't in F9, but he's got Jungle Cruise. Doug coming in way behind in fourth place with his $40 million from In the Heights and The Forever Purge. He had that opened this past weekend to 12.5 million. We will talk about our thoughts on The Forever Purge next week. But yeah, it was the lightest of any of the Purge openings. And as far as the pandemic goes, not too bad for a fifth movie in a horror franchise, or thriller franchise, whatever the hell you want to call the Purge franchise, since it's not remotely scary. But yeah, he has Black Widow this weekend, which is going to make or break his summer. I think projections are this one's going to open to like 85 million, from what I've been seeing. So that'll be huge. I mean, it is on Disney Plus as well, but you have to pay for it.
Yeah.
But I think Marvel fans are going to go out to see it in theaters. And then yeah, I'm still in first place with 221 million.
We'll
So
see.
I'm about a 90.
It's
Yeah, we're gonna see what happens with Black Widow.
How's Quiet Place doing now at this point?
It's doing okay.
I didn't look
I
at
mean,
those numbers.
still making decent amount. Nothing crazy at this point in time, but I mean, it's holding well. So 221 million. I got, I guess, about a 90 million lead. Got a few movies. Nothing coming up for the next till I think the end of July. With M Night Shyamalan's Old. So JP definitely is going to catch up to me before my next movie comes out. He will probably be in first place at the end of July. But we'll see. And Corey, you got Suicide Squad in August. So it's going to be fun to see how this shakes out over the next couple months. Release dates. We had a bunch of changes due to Warner Brothers. If anyone was excited for Dune, you are now going to have to wait 3 more weeks to see this one. It basically they wanted to get away from the new Bond, or unless they wanted to get away from the new Hotel Transylvania, since that moved to that 10/1 release date. But I think it had more to do with just being close to Bond. Unfortunately, because of this, Edgar Wright's new film, Last Night in Soho, has also been pushed back a week. So that's no longer going to be facing Dune, The French Dispatch, and Jackass 4.
I think that's in a better spot now because it's so close to Halloween.
I don't love Halloween release dates. People don't go to movies on Halloween. They go to parties and deal with their kids, trick-or-treating and stuff like that. I mean, weekend 2, then I think I'm pretty sure the Eternals is out. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not great. But who knows?
Dune is still HBO Max. They haven't pulled the
Yeah,
trigger on that, right?
all these ones from Warner
That's
Brothers are
insane.
still HBO Max.
I'm
It looks
shocked
like
that
looks like potentially they all will. I mean, maybe The Matrix won't, just because it's right at the end of the year. And I mean, it is basically a year after Wonder Woman kicked off that whole year of HBO Max releases. So maybe that one will get a pass.
I
But
really thought Dune would get
yeah,
moved off that. That's crazy.
so did I. But The Many Saints of Newark, the Sopranos movie, has now moved back a week to where Dune was going to be opening. Um, so that's exciting. We saw the trailer for that over the past couple weeks. Any thoughts on that, Corey? I believe you're the only Sopranos watcher other than me
Um,
on this podcast.
yeah, I mean it. I know we talked about it. It definitely hit the nostalgia feels as a Sopranos fan. It looks fun. I had to watch it a couple times because I didn't get like the best glimpse on what younger actors are playing, the characters from the original show younger. But it seems like they nailed the casting choices pretty well. Um, Vera Farmiga, I still think she's like nails Mrs. Soprano.
Yeah, she looks creepy as Olivia.
Yeah.
I kind of
Like,
get Carmela vibes from her also,
yeah.
from that first scene you see her in.
I
But
mean, a lot of it was makeup, but just like her inflection and just the way that she carries herself, like in the few bits that we saw, I was like, wow, she's like nailing it.
mhm.
Um, I like James Gandolfini's son. Was it Michael? Right?
Yeah,
He's seems like he's going to be really good. It looks like it's going to be a hit probably for Sopranos fans. I don't know if it'll bring new people into the series, but I think it'll be a good supplement.
yeah. My guess is it doesn't bring too many new people, but I didn't realize that uh, Tony was basically going to be a co-lead in this movie. So it really is like young Sopranos. I mean, the
Yeah,
fact that you have Tony, Silvio, Paulie, like everyone is in this movie that would have been in
Junior.
alive in late '60s Newark. Exactly, Junior, Olivia, like we said.
It'll be
Um,
interesting to see like how close it gets to like I guess the present day of the original show, like how
I don't,
far it goes.
yeah, I don't think it's going to go any farther than like one specific time period.
Okay.
Is my guess. Uh, but who knows? Could be wrong. Yeah, and then also Clint Eastwood's new movie, Cry Macho, has moved up from that 10/22 release date that Dune had moved to, and is now going to come out September 17th. So if you're a big Clint Eastwood fan, you got to look forward to that coming out sooner rather than later. It'll be out in September.
Definitely excited.
But yeah, let's move on to the trailers because there were a lot of them. Few horror movies. Don't Breathe 2, Candyman, Halloween Kills. Anything in particular that you guys thought looked cool from those three, or any thoughts on them at all?
I mean, I know I wanted to talk about Don't Breathe. It looks so weird compared to the first one. Um, it seems like they're positioning, the main antagonist of the first movie as like the protagonist in this, which is kind of strange.
Yeah, I definitely don't love that
Yeah,
because he was fucking
pretty
awful
shitty
in
person.
the
Yeah,
original movie.
yeah, very. But I know we've said it a couple times where it's like how are they going to do a sequel to this? Like it kind of gets tied up in one movie. Like there's not really much more of a story to tell, but it seems like they're, kind of twisting twisting the idea a little bit, and it almost looks like a John Wick type of revenge movie at this point.
Yeah,
So it
yeah, and
has
they're
me.
having him protect a kid, so like, I mean, you can't. You have to root on the guy protecting the kid. So
Mhm.
like, it'll be interesting to see how it actually turns out.
I like how Fede Alvarez is back. He's not directing it, but seems like he's like deeply involved in like the movie. I think he helped write the screenplay too. So
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
I mean, hopefully it'll end up being good. I mean, it's piqued my interest. I'll go see it. So
Yeah.
that was definitely the
And
call out for me.
yeah, then Halloween looks like more of the same. It's interesting that it has nods to other movies in the franchise, like the third one, which I don't
Yeah.
think has gotten a nod since it was originally released. But that should be interesting. Um,
But it doesn't exist in that timeline, right?
exactly. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
nothing exists other than the original one.
That's real strange.
Yeah,
And
it's
it,
just like a call out.
and it looks like they're like bringing back the whole like him being supernatural type thing. Like everything Jamie Lee Curtis says
Yep.
is like every time he kills, he becomes more powerful. All
Yeah,
this
he
corny ass
transcends.
shit.
So
Yeah,
they're making the same mistakes over again.
it looks like that's exactly what's happening. Yeah, um, Danny McBride and David Gordon Green are just making the mistakes this time instead of John Carpenter and Deborah Hill.
It's crazy. Time is a
But
flat circle.
exactly, and we know we're not actually getting an ending with this one. So
Yep.
kind of puts a little bit of a buzzkill on this one. Yeah, and then Candyman looks original. I never saw the original one, so maybe it's actually not original at all. But it definitely looks like a Jordan Peele type of feature, and I'm down to see that one.
Yeah, from what I remember about the original movie, I mean, it's definitely an original film, but the character is really the only thing that's like Candyman is the only thing that's not original. But it definitely seems like it's its own thing. But it is a sequel, right?
Yeah, I think they're doing the same thing that they did
Like
with Halloween, where only
Okay.
the original one counts, and this is like
Yeah.
a sequel to that one.
So I
And
mean,
then they just give it the exact same title, just like they're
Yeah.
doing with Scream. Except for at least with Scream, they're not getting rid of 2 through 4. But
it looks
we'll
good.
see how it turns out. Then on the comic book side of things, we got the new look at Shang-Chi, The Legend of the Ten Rings, and Suicide Squad. Which one are you guys more excited for after these latest trailers?
Neither.
I know none of us were too hyped on any of these looks. I mean, Suicide Squad just looked like more of the same from last time.
Yeah,
Which I'm not necessarily upset with, but
it wasn't really more the same to me. It was more like kind of flat jokes, and it's the same action, but the jokes were fucking horrible in this trailer.
and yeah, and kind of like pushing Idris Elba to the forefront, like being like, all right, he's the one you're supposed to care about in this.
Yeah, and
Giving him
I
like the
love the
backstory.
beginning. I love that first clip when he pulls a knife on Waller. I thought that was awesome.
I don't at all. It sounds like they just changed the name of Deadshot to Vigilante, and then there's like, oh, he has a kid, and we're gonna threaten the kid.
That's exactly what they did.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh
that was
shit, Will
exact-
Smith's not coming back.
that's
We
exactly
need to.
what they did. I don't think they're even trying to hide it.
That's just lazy as fuck. Like, it's not what I expect from James Gunn. That's just fucking shitty writing.
I
But-
guess he didn't want to replace that exact character, even though it's basically the same character. I don't know.
Yeah, but
He must have
They,
a reason.
they
for
wanted
it.
to leave the door open for Will Smith to come back and.
Maybe that was that makes a lot of sense actually.
Yeah,
Like if
so-
the movie does really well.
So change the character and change how they get him into being in Suicide Squad. It's just fucking silly. I think
Yeah.
he's gonna be good because he's a good actor. It seems like a cool character. All the characters seem good. Just the fucking jokes were so bad. I really hope they used all like the cut
corny
B-roll
Harley Quinn
shitty
ones.
ones, like everything that they just scrounged up from the cutting room floor for this trailer.
The starfish joke didn't hit for you?
is fucking horrible.
Oh god, I thought it was hilarious.
Harley Quinn walking in is like makes a pee and poop joke.
I don't know. I
I think the Peacemaker one
Margot.
was the only one that got me to laugh
Yeah,
from that one. Just
just-
because it reminded me of the Limp Bizkit album.
yeah. I just thought they did a better job in that briefing room in the first trailer. Those jokes were
Yeah.
funnier.
They
And,
did.
yeah,
They were funnier.
like obviously John Cena is probably going to be a pretty funny part of the movie because that's just what he does. I don't know. It just seemed like bottom of the barrel jokes in this one, which was
Mhm.
kind of sad.
hope we don't get another trailer. We might, know we're gonna get TV spots up the ass, but I'm good. Like I don't need to see another trailer. I'm like good to go to
For my
just go and see the movie
enthusiasm
at this
levels,
point.
I hope we don't get another fucking trailer. Because I don't think it can really go up at this point. It's just sort of.
But
going down.
I feel like it was similar with the Guardians movies, like that. Well, the first one, the first trailer was amazing, but even with the second one, I don't remember the trailers that came after the first were anything, amazing. I don't remember them like being great with joke wise. Like it seemed like the jokes were really held for the movie. So I don't know. Hopefully that's the case.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
Because if they spoiled most of the movie, like the jokes, then yeah, that would be super disappointing.
Yeah. And then Shang-Chi looked like fucking Snake Eyes. It just looked like a generic.
I was gonna say
shitty
they look
action
like the
movie.
exact same movie.
Yeah.
I keep confusing myself. Like the way the movies are shot, like everything about them, like just seem so similar.
Well, but it's
Dude,
not.
Paramount just cut their trailer to look exactly like Shang-Chi in hopes that people are like, oh, let's see that new Marvel movie. And then they realize,
Yeah.
oh, this is G.I. Joe.
I think so, because that
I think
Snake
you're
Eyes
100% right.
trailer looks like a decent movie up until they start bringing these stupid, outlandish G.I. Joe characters into it, like Scarlet and like the Baroness. It's so
Mhm.
fucking. I saw it in the theaters when I saw Fast 9. I said, this movie just. It doesn't need to be a goddamn G.I. Joe movie. Just make it about Snake Eyes.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna go see it.
I'm not.
I'll still see it.
Thing looks like it's gonna be a piece of shit. But I mean, Shang-Chi
My
looks
bar is
alright,
very low.
but they took they took all the cool action scenes out that they flaunted in the first trailer.
And they added Abomination.
Yeah, which was cool, I guess.
But did you guys even notice him the first time?
I
only
did.
noticed it
I
because
did.
people mentioned it online.
Yeah.
I did. I was like, is that Abomination? It looks a lot like him.
Yeah.
But I think he's fighting Wong. I think
Yeah,
Wong's
that's
in
what
the
I
movie,
read online.
which is even.
I couldn't tell any of it from the trailer.
No, that I read online.
Maybe I just lost interest by the time that part happened.
Yeah.
I wasn't exactly like thrilled by what was going on in the trailer.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't a strong trailer.
All right then. We'll move on to what we watched, and maybe Doug will come back. See what
It
happens.
just keeps popping in and out.
Well, while we're waiting for him,
Yeah,
we
we're
might
all-
as well start. We're fucked up right now.
Yeah, we're all
Of course-
fucked
yeah,
up.
of course we are.
Like I'm half a person.
What do I need to do, Duck?
Yeah, duck. Everyone needs to duck.
All right,
We're ducking now. We're talking real
Duck,
low.
Duck, Goose.
Up.
Oh,
Now
he's
I'm
back.
Doug. Hi,
He's
I'm
back.
Doug. I got a better
Yeah,
connection, and
Doug's just pretending his internet's fucked because he wants to watch the Tampa Bay Lightning. That's exactly what's happening.
it's fucking hockey, man. It's
He texted us earlier today that he's gonna have to duck out at one point to watch the game.
why
That's what's happening.
It's fucking hockey, man. It's like the fake sport.
It's Canadian sport.
Yeah. There's no place
It's
in
a
Florida.
it's a clincher though. I mean, the second clincher in a row for them. Hey, oh my God, you're actually moving.
Well, he
you have
moves for a
connect-
second.
You
but-
have connection.
Is that better?
Yes.
For now, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know
Wow.
why
All
I
right.
don't know why
This
my
is
video went off.
Perfect
Didn't do
timing.
anything.
You're getting infected. He's right above you.
Yeah, maybe.
Me and Murph
Just
got
gotta
this.
get my drink.
Me and Murph have this big old space in between us and Doug. You're real close to him. We have a quarantine spot. This is no man's land right here. Doug's internet.
I
can't
can give you
penetrate
some
it.
more space, Corey. Just kind of. That's not going the right way.
I'm not looking
Oh
at
my
the screen, but I'm guessing it's fucked.
No, it's good. No.
No, we're good now.
Oh, beautiful. All right. Well, let's get into what we watched. Perfect timing. What I was gonna say is let's talk about F9 because Dougnat didn't see that one. But since you are here, we'll start with the oldest to newest. We'll start with Luca. We were going to talk about that last week, but Doug was the only one who did his homework and watched it the weekend it came out. So at this point, I've watched it as well. So now we can actually have a conversation about it. Fucking not bad. Not bad, Pixar. Was expecting
Yeah.
nothing from this one, but I got something. I've watched it twice already, actually.
Wow.
Wow.
Funny,
You watched it twice. Wow.
the only things I've watched this year are like the two animated movies are the only ones I've watched twice. That and Bo Burnham's special. Everything else is just one and done. But yeah, I like this
Strong
one.
year.
Now, what? Coming from someone who didn't watch it, what was the story great? Because the story didn't seem very strong from the trailer. Was the acting? Was it funny? Like
It's
what?
not like a great.
Pretty?
It's like to me the story. I was like
got
very
you?
like
The story is basically
some laughs.
buy a Vespa. It's a Vespa commercial for an hour and a half.
So what makes this movie so great? I'm just so puzzled because the trailer just does not do anything for me.
You're
Me, it
asking
was
me
just
a very loaded question.
enjoyable.
Yeah, no, it's enjoyable. It's just a fun movie.
Like ice cream.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very colorful, bright. It's nice to look at. I was saying to Doug that I think what they perfected the most in this one is like hair, which is a weird thing to perfect. But they already did like the water perfect with Finding Nemo and stuff. But this one, I was like, it's like really fucking impressive the way like the humans look when they're trying to do things a little bit more realistic. The rest of like their bodies and stuff don't look like a cartoon. But I thought that looked really realistic. And then the score I thought was a major highlight of the film. One of their best, probably original ones in a long time. I don't know. I don't know. Remember if Coco had a really good score, or if it was just the music in it. But this, from what I can remember, was the best score they've done in a very long time.
Yeah.
What else did you like in this one, Doug? I thought the villain was amusing. I liked him. Like,
The villain was so ridiculous.
oh, he was so over the top. It's the most such a fucking over the top Italian stuff.
Yeah, and he was also like way older than the other kids, but was like pretending to be a kid to compete in the kids Vespa race. And
He's probably like 21 years old and versing like these 10-year-olds.
Kids Vespa race? Interesting.
or no, it wasn't a Vespa race. It was like a triathlon
Yeah, it was a
to
bicycle
win a
race.
Vespa or to get enough money to win a Vespa.
What did they want the Vespa
Or
for?
he wasn't.
Freedom, Corey. Freedom. You get the
Freedom,
That's
yeah.
exactly what they
Freedom.
want. No,
That was pretty much
that's
it.
exactly
Yeah.
what they wanted it for.
I wrote this movie.
It's like JP saw it.
I wrote it.
Yeah, it's not. There was nothing about the story that was like Pixar deep, where I was like contemplating the meaning of life or anything like that. I really thought it was. I just enjoyed the colorfulness of it, the animation. I thought it was just really enjoyable. The use of the score. It was just enjoyable to watch. It had enough laughs that it kept me interested.
Yeah,
It seemed like pretty much.
funny.
And it went pretty much where I thought it would go as far as the story went until the very
Sorry.
end.
Oh yeah. What I was gonna say is they did not utilize Sacha Baron Cohen enough. They need to make like a spinoff for his
I
character.
didn't even realize that he was in the movie.
I had no clue.
Yeah. He's in like one scene of the movie and the post credits, and that's it. But he was fucking super funny, as he is. He was Doug. If you don't remember, or if you didn't know, he was the uncle.
The glowfish.
Yeah, the Uncle Ugo. Just a ridiculous character. And yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it was just a bunch of kids like having a fun summer. I mean, brings you back to like childhood and shit like that. I mean, minus the fact that none of us were sea monsters or anything like that, but
That we know of.
we weren't obsessed with Vespas.
Yeah, and you mentioned, I think you mentioned this, that it's all like kids. It's all kids voicing kids, or
yeah.
at least it's kind of neat. I didn't realize that.
It was different for Pixar. Like they typically always have adults in like their like as the main characters of things, but this one was just, I don't know, fucking 18-year-old and a 14-year-old doing the main voices.
How old were the kids?
And I thought the
other
probably 15 and 10 is my guess.
I was gonna say they seem young.
Yeah. It was the kid from It. One of the kids from It. He played the older one. It was the one who's the hypochondriac in It.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I liked him.
Yeah, he is the voice of
Richie.
No, not Not Rich. Richie's the
What's his
Stranger
name?
Things one, right?
Yeah, Richie's the Stranger Things one. It was
No.
The kid from Shazam, also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I forget what.
He was the one, and then one of the kids from the main kid from Good Boys was the younger one.
Oh fuck! God, that movie is so bad.
I like
And from Room with Brie
I
Larson.
like Good Boys.
But yeah, and I thought the girl in the movie was pretty funny. I don't know who that was? But
Julieta or whatever.
yeah, Julie. Yeah,
Or Juliana or something
yeah.
with
They
G
had,
in it.
it's funny though. Like they have these like it all. They're fucking in Italy. They're all like doing these ridiculous Italian like accents and like saying certain words in Italian, and then they just go right.
Oh,
Yeah, that was kind of a little weird for me, where they were just like the one or two like Italian words they put this like Italian accent on. I forgot what one of the words that they were kept saying was.
Valencia.
Yeah, so what was it, Silencio?
Yeah, they say that a lot in the movie.
it's like watching Food
And that
Network.
one they go like, yeah, they go really Italian.
They go super
Um,
hard with like pronouncing it, and then they'll just go right back to speaking 21st century English.
Dude,
Um,
it's like watching Giada on Food Network, just talking completely with an American accent, and then she'll just scream at the top of her lungs with like one word with an Italian accent. Drives me fucking nuts.
but yeah,
it
like
kind of reminds.
you go ahead.
I was gonna say, it kind of reminds me of like. I'm just still going with the Italian accents. It kind of reminds me of like it when you like meet someone from like an Italian family and they like pronounce like what they're having for dinner with like the Italian accent, but then they don't have an Italian accent.
Yep.
That's kind of what it reminds me of.
Yeah, but
Really like
movie-
Italian
because
Americans.
the movie was a goofy movie. Like Doug said, it didn't make you contemplate the meaning of life, like Soul or anything like that. This was more just a straight, like, fun film, and it worked. So I was happy about that.
We both
Um,
agreed,
yeah.
right, offline that this was better than we enjoyed this more than Soul. Are we both? in
Yeah.
agreement
Oh
on that?
wow.
I said we were gonna look like
Really?
assholes to like the film community that we both enjoyed this more than Soul.
Wow.
Yeah.
I said that
We
about
lost our
Onward
cred.
too. I'm like, I'm losing all credibility that I like the movies that bookended Soul.
Interesting.
Love Soul, and I mean, I love the score in that was also very good. Since I mean, Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross and John Baptiste, like they all did good things. But this one, I don't know. I really like the score of this one. But yeah, that's enough about Luca. Let's go on to F9. Doug, go check the hockey score. We're going to have an
Man, I just
interesting conversation. I know.
got the technical issues
I know. You
sorted
just
out.
I said you were probably fucking around, just saying you had so you could watch the game.
All right. Well, I will go to
Come
my
back.
soundproof
Come
booth.
back in a few minutes. Come back in 5 minutes and see what's going on.
Okay.
All right. All right. So we said last episode that Corey, JP, and I would be seeing this on a Friday night with our buddy Derek, and that didn't end up happening. JP got sick, got ill, and only the rest of us went. So we have no idea what JP thought about F9, and I'm really excited about it because it was a fucking insanely stupid movie.
Yeah.
And yeah, let's start with what you thought about F9.
You know, it's the little details, guys. It's the little details that bring you out. Like
family.
no, not like family. Like in the first movie, when they explain that Dominic Toretto beat Kenny Lister with a 3/4 inch torque wrench, and in this movie, when he picks up a fucking monkey wrench and beats him with it, fucking 0 stars. There's a lore to this, goddamn
He's
it.
not gonna have to become a janitor after that.
No, it's I found myself liking the throwback stuff more than I like the actual plot of the movie, because the plot of the movie
Me
seemed
too.
very thin and just like, who gives a shit.
It was the
Yeah.
same like type of plot they've been doing for the last 4 movies. So
Yeah.
the fact that they showed some like history
Yeah, I
was
like
pretty cool.
throwback stuff a lot.
Throwback stuff was cool. The guy that played young Dom looks absolutely nothing like Vin Diesel. Not even
No.
a
He does a
fucking
voice all right.
little bit.
does the
Young Vince looked like young Vince.
Young Vince
Yeah.
looked like young Vince. I loved how they just recast all the little young kids in there. That was fun.
Did you see young Jesse?
I did see young Jesse. Yeah, I saw young Mia, young Letty. That
Yeah.
was awesome. And then young fucking John Cena looked like young fucking John Cena. Looks absolutely in no way related to
No.
Dominic Toretto, who
No.
after watching all these movies has become progressively more Spanish throughout the series.
Yeah.
When I was watching the first Fast and the Furious the other day, I was like, he's clearly like Italian or something. He's not Spanish.
Which is what he was in Saving Private Ryan a few years before.
Yeah. So they just kind of completed the circle by getting some guy who's, you know, a Spanish actor that looks absolutely nothing like Vin Diesel to play him as a young character. But I think he did a pretty good job. I loved all the little throwbacks.
Dude, how about that logo in the beginning that they used the old Universal one?
Yeah, that was cool.
Completely forgot about that.
Yeah, they
That was
went back
cool.
to like the logo that was in the original movie, and I guess it debuted technically debuted in 1990, but the scenes and the flashbacks were supposed to be 89. I'm gonna let it pass because I thought it was cool that
Yeah,
they
that
did
was
that.
cool.
Yeah, I thought that was neat. They did a pretty cool job, like just tying everything together. Cena was pretty
Michael
damn good.
Rooker
Yeah, Michael Rooker was all right. I expected a little
introducing
bit
the
more out of him.
Corona.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
expected a
thought he
little
was gonna
more
be in
out
it
of him.
more.
Yeah. Cena did all right. I like the weird Eastern European funding billionaire guy. I thought he was pretty good as like a fast villain. He wasn't very. He's pretty inconsequential.
Yeah,
In most things. Fucking Simple Jack. Didn't need to be in this movie at all.
yeah, and they're just keeping her alive.
Ah,
She's
I
the,
was so fucking angry when she walked out of that drone thing.
yeah, she's the fucking end game. Like she's clearly gonna be the big bad of the last. But why?
She's a
She's
horrible
not that
villain.
interesting.
She's
No.
a horrible villain. Using a great actress to make to like just personify a
Easiest role to
horrible
film in the
villain.
world.
Oh yeah,
You hang out in one room and walk, and that's
she's
it.
collecting a paycheck. Like
She doesn't
no
even have a
one's
lot of lines
business.
in this movie.
She doesn't even have to walk much.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about the end with the table?
I was gonna, yeah.
almost cried again. They're just gonna keep making Brian.
Justin Lin got his
Yeah.
chance to say goodbye this time. I mean,
That
he wasn't
was-
around for 7 and 8, so
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that was absolutely wonderful. That was
it
to
was
me, the
very
best
nice.
part of the movie.
Yeah.
So good. Fucking what's his face that plays Sean Boswell looks like garbage.
What is he, a fucking 45-year-old high school senior still?
I don't know, but all three of them looked pretty rough from the Tokyo Drift thing. And then
Yeah.
just the reunion with Han was so it wasn't I expected more. I really expected more for that.
Han coming back was like the 10th most ridiculous thing in the movie.
Yeah, and actually having watched Tokyo Drift this weekend, it's even more ridiculous. And it
They have
really cheapens it.
Oh yeah, I mean they've retconned a retcon at this point.
Yeah.
It's getting
Mhm.
ridiculous. And they didn't even explain how he survived. They just
Well-
show him next to Mr. Nobody.
Well, no,
Yeah.
it's like what it seemed like it was like a remote controlled car with a hologram inside of it. Is really because they
I
showed
didn't get that, but okay.
so like when they have when the cars crash, they show like the hologram like fade out, and then like guy walks by and he's not there anymore, and Han's clearly just
Okay.
standing next to Mr. Nobody. I don't know, it's stupid as shit, but if it means we get more Han for a couple more movies, then I really don't care.
Yeah. I mean,
The story
he's a
is
great character.
already incredibly tainted at this point.
Oh,
So,
it's the most ridiculous.
yeah.
It's just a ridiculous soap opera at this point.
Yeah.
I liked
like-
Ramsey a lot in this one. A lot.
Yeah, I thought she was way better in this one.
She was better in terms of a character, but holy shit, her fucking the whole hacking shit needs to go. It needs to end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I
So
liked her
annoying.
I liked her trait of not being able to drive.
Dude, that was
Like
great.
that was the best part.
Yeah, it was hilarious. It had a lot of really stupid like throwaway lines like, "Oh, I didn't mean to do that." Well, I meant to do that. which is like that silly bullshit trope thing that they do in all action type movies that I'm beginning to really hate. But yeah, that was great. That was a great scene for her. But
Mhm.
the hacking needs to stop. Like
Yeah, I
after
mean,
watching Fast 5, it was just as simple as like, oh, we have a camera in here and we're just gonna watch this and do that, and that was it. And it just
yeah, well, they
evolved.
keep coming up with these doohickeys that are like the most powerful things in the world.
Well, it's like Mission Impossible at this point. It's like they're coming up with all these gadgets.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
they're even
fun.
more ridiculous than Mission Impossible. I mean, they went
Yeah.
to space. They went to space.
And
They did go to space.
and somehow got out of their car and got into the International Space Station and hitched a ride back home.
In what were they, like scuba diving outfits, basically?
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
Oh,
My God, I couldn't. We
Yeah.
were laughing so much
I was
every time they showed them in space. 'Cause it was like they actually did it, and it was
Yeah.
dumber than I could have imagined.
it was so much stupider.
yeah.
In a Pontiac Fiero with a rocket engine attached to it.
Yep.
But your wife saw this one with you,
Yeah.
and was this the first one she ever saw?
Yeah, this is the first Fast and Furious movie she ever saw. She was nice enough to come with me when we got tickets for it on Sunday.
How did that work for her?
She actually kind of enjoyed it, and we sat down, and she wanted to watch the rest of them, so we sat down. We watched the first one. We watched Too Fast. We watched Tokyo Drift. We watched Fast and Furious, and then we watched Fast 5. So we binged pretty good this weekend.
And which is your favorite so far?
She's between the 4th and the 5th. She really likes Fast and Furious, and actually that's the one I've probably watched least out of them all, and it's a really solid movie. It's a nice blend between the original shenanigans of the first 2 or 3 and what they started doing with 5, 6, and then beyond.
Yeah, I would say Fast and Furious is like a big budget remake of the Fast and the Furious.
Yep.
Like
Tailored to
the
what
story
they
is
did now.
fairly similar, but then they do the huge big action scenes that they didn't do in the first one.
Yep, and they still have great races in it, and they still have
Yeah.
great cars, and it's not about ridiculous technology and things like that. It's a really good movie. The villain's pretty solid. It's the only one that I think has like a good twist to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because the thing with Braga's really good, and then fake Braga, and
Yeah.
I'd forgotten about
That's
that.
so funny though, her going in on 9 because it's
Yeah.
such a mythology-rich like franchise, which is weird to say that the Fast and the Furious is a mythology-rich franchise.
It
But
really
It
insane.
really is.
Yeah, because even like the beginning scene where they're showing the race, and she goes, "Does he die?" I said, "Oh yeah, he dies." We're talking
Dude,
about
we-
Shannon's dad.
We may have had the most annoying audience ever, like
Oh,
opening
no.
night. Dude, we
was
were
so
45 minutes into the movie, and somebody's still going, "Who are those characters?"
Oh my
At
god!
every flashback. I wanted to turn around and be like, "Toretto, you idiot! Like, how do you not know this?"
bad. Oh, that's awful.
Finally, some guy, maybe probably close to an hour into the movie, just starts screaming at him. And it was very cool that he did.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the movie was peaceful.
Well, that's good. Yeah, we
Yeah.
had pretty chill. We went at like noon on Sunday morning. After that, so it was pretty good. We had a couple next to us, and then the mom was really into it. And like at the very end with the Brian thing, she's like, "Oh, that's so nice." So it's everyone was pretty quiet. It was a good.
That's
a
good.
experience.
That's better because
Yeah.
I mean I always forget how rowdy those fast crowds are on opening night.
Yeah.
I mean I've
Yeah.
done it a few times at this point, and they are obnoxious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think having heard that, the next one will probably be like another Saturday matinee or something like that, where you don't get the rowdy morons.
Yeah.
It's like,
Any returning character that you were actually surprised returned?
I don't remember, to be perfectly honest. I'm happy that Bow Wow came back, even though I kind of knew he was going to be there from the trailers.
Yeah.
I'm still holding out for Leon, but he wasn't there. It's a damn
In
shame.
time. They're saving him for the last.
Who else did they bring back?
Well, they brought back
Mr. Nobody, which was crazy. I
Yeah.
didn't think that he was going to come back in this one.
they
'cause he
brought back
wasn't
Mr.
built.
Nobody. They brought back Leo or Santos. I can't remember which one because I mean they had both of them in the flashback scene.
Right.
Yeah.
Then only one of them at the end.
Were they the same characters or were they the same actors in the flashback scene?
Different actors in the flashback,
Different actors in the flashback.
and then just the one returning actor. I guess Don Omar, I think it is, because they played the song that was at the end of Fast Five, lightly.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You got Shaw at the end.
Oh yeah, we got
The-
yeah, that's true. We didn't even talk post credits.
So that was
Yeah,
something.
that was-
yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah, I like the punching bag thing with the guy in there. I
Yeah.
thought that was pretty good.
Yeah.
How the fuck do you like? What's gonna happen between those characters?
Yeah, that's
I mean, it seems like that would be a Fast 10 situation, not the Hobbs and Shaw spinoff.
Yeah,
If I had
I
to
would
guess.
hope. Yeah.
yeah. I think that'll be really interesting.
I mean, unless they want to go crazy and do fucking Han and Shaw.
Which or Hobbs and Han, which is what Corey
Yeah.
wanted
Han
to
and
do.
Hobbs, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Owen Shaw is still in jail, technically, right? Is
No,
that his
he
name?
got out at the end of.
You saved the baby
Fast
with
8, yeah.
Deckard.
Oh, okay.
Fucking Helen Mirren's still doing illegal. I told you she was bad. I told you
Yeah.
she was
Bullshit.
bad. She's not a good person.
He is a crook, for sure.
She's a thievery.
Yeah, she likes to party.
Yeah, she does like to party. She sabotaged Dom though. She gave him to Jacob.
But-
with a K.
She had Cardi B save him.
Fucking hell. That was
Yeah,
the
that is
worst
true.
fucking
That
scene
was-
So bad.
That was
in
her
any
team.
movie.
Yeah, that
That
was her
was really
team
bad.
of people that saved them.
Fucking horrible. They could have brought anyone back to do that scene, and they put that fucking moron. Oh my god.
Oh, Vin Diesel said he's bringing her back.
I know. I
she's
heard
got-
that too.
She's got a big story to expand on in the later
can
ones.
barely speak, let alone act. I don't
Yeah.
understand why they. Oh,
It
Because,
was
like,
it
I
was
like-
cringy.
they bring in the rappers for all these movies, and they have like some weird like they had Iggy Azalea who like mumbled some shit.
Oh
in,
yeah, she was in
She
one
was
of them.
horrible. She was like Cardi B levels of fucking horrible, like struggling to put a sentence together in front of a camera. And it's like, fine. She goes away and she never comes back. You're gonna bring Cardi B back in for fucking
She's gonna have her own side project, her
Oh.
own movies,
See,
her character.
that alone makes me not want to see the next two movies. Because now it's just devolving into stupidity. Like
Is it gonna be
but not
two?
even, like,
Part
fun
one and part two?
stupidity,
It's
just
they're
crap
doing a
stupidity.
2-part finale.
Oh my god.
I mean, they're gonna bring in the Raptors. They're gonna just bring in all the other franchises that Universal has. and just go
Frankenstein,
balls to the wall.
Dracula, like
Dude, I would
just
so
bring all
Nothing's
the
off
watch
limits.
that.
I want Universal monsters. Just bring them
This
all.
franchise
And the
has
dinosaurs.
descended into a goddamn meme at this point.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily hate it because the memes are fantastic,
Yeah.
but
The
like
memes are
I've
great.
accepted at this point, like the series, as far as it really matters, it ended. Or you can say 7 if like once Paul Walker was gone.
To me, it ends at
Yeah.
5. I think 5 is
It was the perfect ending.
Yeah,
Yeah.
five's great.
Absolutely the perfect ending.
Yeah.
But I have fun with them still, just because like they're so stupid.
I had a
Yeah.
great time with this movie. It was a ball to see it, especially in theaters. I mean, we'll see in repeat viewings. I'm sure it won't live up as well, but it was fun.
Yeah, I do want to check it
Action
out
was great.
again, just to catch the things I missed when loud people were talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be a good one to watch again. I definitely don't have that sour taste in my mouth that I did when I left Fate of the Furious.
And that's Justin Lin for you.
Yeah.
I liked this one a lot more than 7. A lot more. 7 was probably my
Yeah,
least
I think
favorite.
7 might be my least favorite also. 7 and 8 are my least favorites.
7 is Jason Statham.
Yeah.
I don't really like that one.
I had watched that again. That one's better than 8. I hated it less than I hated it when I saw it in theaters, because when I saw it in theaters, it was just action scenes pieced together by Jason Statham showing up like fucking.
Oh, yeah.
Whenever they did
Remember-
something, he's like,
Mhm.
"I'll end this action or this scene by showing up and attacking you because I know where you
Yeah.
are at literally all times. Why the fuck would I need the God's Eye? I show up wherever the fuck you are." So.
Mhm.
I didn't think it was as bad as when I saw it in theaters, but 8 was still kind of a stinker.
Yeah, 8's not great.
I thought 9 had some life to it, and I thought John Cena should definitely come back.
He
I
was
have to
great.
imagine.
I
he will.
really liked him.
I don't know if Vin Diesel hates him yet. He didn't.
No,
give-
in
I don't-
time.
didn't think you give him enough lines to be like to be jealous of his charisma on screen yet. But if the writers give him too many lines and fast 10-year seatbelts, then Vin Diesel will probably hate him.
If he gets too big after Suicide Squad and the Peacemaker TV show, then we could have a problem.
Yeah, he won't be back. But that'd be cool. I like how they ended it on a good note with him.
I was showing Corey a tweet that right before the movie started. Somebody was saying to Batista, "Oh, like wouldn't it be cool if you did a movie with The Rock and John Cena?"
Oh, he's
And
not about that.
Batista goes, "Nah, I'll pass."
Yeah. I saw that too. He's not about that.
He's like, "I'm by far the most talented. I do like real movies. I'm good."
I think The Rock's a better actor than Batista.
I know.
No way.
I think The Rock. I think The Rock acts circles around Batista. Like
When he
Yeah,
like
alright.
Batista
I
in
don't
real
think so.
dramas is like he's like a good actor, like Blade Runner and shit.
Yeah.
maybe. I don't know.
I mean, The Rock's like just he's great.
He's a
I mean,
charismatic
he's the most charismatic like actor in Hollywood. That's why he's the biggest actor in Hollywood.
Yeah.
He just doesn't do the types of roles that challenge him.
Yeah, I haven't seen enough from Batista to be like, the man's a good
Fair.
actor.
Fair.
But yeah, I mean, good for Batista to be like, yeah, I'm not gonna get into that gimmicky shit. Like, I'm just gonna do my own thing. Good for him.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to Fear Street Part 1, 1994.
Bring Doug back in.
Yeah, Doug,
Doug.
you're there, right? You
He's
can hear
right
us.
here.
Give us a
Yeah,
nod.
I'm here.
There you go.
I'm here.
All right, so we're gonna go back to 1994. This is the first part in the Fear Street trilogy. That's on Netflix. Part 1 aired this past week. Part 2 airs this Friday. What is this Friday? The 9th. And then Part 3 on the 16th. So this was originally a trilogy that was going to be by Fox on a monthly basis. So it was supposed to come out like in fall of 2020, like over 3 consecutive months. But then the sale to Disney plus COVID, they sold it to Netflix, and now they're putting it on a weekly basis. Which I would have liked to see that whole in theaters monthly to see how it would have performed. But I think ultimately it's probably going to do better on Netflix on this weekly basis.
Probably. Yeah.
And surprisingly, they're getting very good reviews. The first one did, and part 2 I was looking at today. It seemed like the embargo broke, and it has like an 80 something right now.
Yeah, the reviews are decent
on Rotten Tomatoes. And from what I hear, part 3 is going to be by far the most different one. So it'll be interesting. See how that goes. But yeah, what'd you guys think of the first one, which is basically an homage to like the Scream type movies, those type of slasher movies, but with a bit of a supernatural twist to it?
I personally, I really liked it. I wasn't really expecting a lot. I was just expecting like a Scream slasher movie based in the 90s. And we definitely got a little bit more than that. I really liked how it seems like they're connecting all 3 movies. Seems like there's recurring characters that are going to come back. The story is very deeply connected throughout the 3 movies. They're not just, separate films that take place in the same town. So I thought that was really cool. The action was great. I like the characters. One thing that I probably liked the most was the music. I thought the choice of music was great.
Had a very good soundtrack. Reminded
Yeah.
me of Cruella and the fact that it was just bangers from like that era. I know you guys didn't like the Cruella soundtrack,
Yep.
but it was a lot. Overall there was less songs in this one.
I thought that they were
Much
used
less. And
better.
they used them mostly in the first half, I would say.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like so many big songs from the early mid 90s.
Mm-hmm. The main characters I actually liked a lot.
Like the 5 main characters or the 2
yeah.
main?
Well,
Yeah.
the 5 main characters, like, I didn't think I was gonna like them as much as I ended up liking them, but as the movie just progressed, and then it almost became like Stranger Things in a way, like, like it kind of became like a little bit of like a detective
Yeah.
type of mystery type of thing, like a pulp mystery, which I really liked, and those characters were super interesting. I really liked, them a lot, and so I'm glad that Most of them are coming back. So
Yeah, they kind of got me to a point where I felt everyone was safe, like of
yeah,
those five, and then they really weren't. When it got to I guess it was the climax of the movie. It does continue where, so there's shockingly more than what I was expecting after that big climactic.
yeah, the twist was super unexpected, or
Yeah.
twists because there were a couple, but yeah, it's definitely something that I will rewatch, and I'm like super invested now in part 2 and 3 to see kind of where the story goes.
Doug, I think you were saying you weren't planning on watching part 2 after part 1.
I like this movie.
Would you say you
It
didn't
just
really like
wasn't
this movie?
enough. Yeah, I didn't really like it. Some of the characters I liked. There was like the character Sam, was kind of like a boring character for me. I didn't really think she added anything.
I thought you were
other
gonna
than,
say
like,
you liked her, and I was like, she really didn't do much.
Yeah,
kind of like a nothing character.
Yeah,
Had no personality. Just kind of blank slate, basically. And it focused a lot on like her relationship with the main character's relationship, and I was just like, I want to see more happen. Like, I want to see more killing, and it just like just didn't care about the overall plot, and they spent too much time on the overall plot for me. I needed to be like, I guess I wanted it to be more Happy Death Day-ish. I don't know. Would have been like that tone would have been better for me. This one I think
More-
took it a little bit too seriously.
okay.
from what I've been reading.
Where I just like
Sorry, finish your thought.
basically my thought. I just thought it took itself a little bit too seriously for me.
Gotcha. Yeah, from what I've been hearing, part 2 is like the balls to the wall one, where it's just like way more brutal, like way more deaths. It was the last one they filmed apparently, and by that point they're like just didn't give a shit, and they're just like, let's go crazy.
It's like Friday the 13th.
Yeah, and it's like a Friday the 13th type horror movie, like a late 70s, early 80s type one,
Mhm.
which they weren't so self-aware like the ones in the 90s, and weren't about giving you like these smart characters that like knew what was going on, trying to
Mhm.
figure things out. It was basically them just like trying to get laid and trying not to die once the
Mhm.
killer starts coming around. So maybe part 2 would be more up your alley. And part 3, from what I hear, is more like a gothic horror type movie, since it's going all the way back to 1666. So
Yeah,
it
that
sounds like
one
that
is
one is going to be very different from the first two.
yeah.
But also, obviously, it has to tie back into the characters in the present. So
Mhm.
I don't know. It's an interesting concept. It's kind of like a TV show crossed with like a movie, like the way they're presenting it.
So were these filmed while Fox still had ownership? Like while the Fox thing? Oh wow, so they were filmed not long ago. Okay.
Yeah, I guess they were probably
Interesting.
filmed back in, I don't know, 2018 and 2019. That's my guess.
Interesting.
Seems like a fair guess. I know it was like a 100-something day shoot to do the 3 movies,
Mhm.
but yeah, I'm gonna watch part 2. You guys kind of
Cool.
touched upon the stuff that I thought as well. I enjoyed the characters. The ones that died, I was kind of like bummed out about.
Yeah.
They had personality, like the most personalities. Um, I think the different like urban legend type, or like the killers from back in the day that are coming back, I think they're like pretty creepy.
Yeah.
The one that looks super creepy is the one like that deformed one who kills its like siblings that they showed,
Yeah.
and that
Yeah.
one's in part 2.
Yeah.
So that looks super creepy.
Well, that one looks really creepy, and the one that to me is incredibly creepy because we really didn't see much about him yet is the priest pastor, the
Hmm.
one who like what does he eat children or something like that?
I forget.
It's something having to do with I know he kills children, but like it's pretty wild. Like that character seemed pretty scary, and we haven't really seen anything about that character at all. Like he didn't show up in the first
Yeah,
one.
they're just teasing him for later ones.
Yeah. So, but yeah, they were pretty creepy for sure.
Yeah, and it's cool that these are like hard R-rated movies. Like they're not messing around with anything. They're bloody, gory. Kids curse a lot.
Did you think that they
Realistic.
turned up the gore like for the final act? Because like that
Yes, the
that
final act was like really
brutal.
bloody.
Like with
I mean,
in the
The one
supermarket.
kill was very similar to Freaky. The one with
The
yeah.
buzzsaw, right?
yeah,
Yep.
it was
Yeah,
very
trailer.
similar
Yep.
to that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
I was
that
like,
reminded
oh
me of
no.
Freaky.
But yeah, apparently it's gonna only get worse from here. So we'll see.
a couple days.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 2 days to go, and then the
Yeah.
new one will be out.
Report back
Which
next week, I
again,
guess.
that's cool. Yeah, we'll talk back. We'll talk about part 2 in our next episode, which again is in 1978. But yeah, you can watch that on Netflix, and then the next one that we're going to talk about, you can find on Disney Plus. You probably have already watched it already. We'll start with talking about episodes 3 and 4. Before we talk about episode 5, we'll give you episode 5 because we are talking about it the day the episode aired. So there's a possibility if you're watching this, watch it. And we do not want to get you spoiled. So let's talk about 3 and 4. At this point, correct me if I'm wrong, all 4 of us have seen all of these 3. We're all fully caught up, right?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. But as far as episodes 3 and 4, what did you guys think? These were the ones Loki and Sylvie are first hanging out on that planet that's about to be annihilated, and then we're dealing with episode 4 where they're back in the TVA and dealing with finding out what exactly the timekeepers are and how they're really not what you think they are, that there's some sort of man behind the curtain that we don't know who it is yet. Do you like these two? I know a lot of people were like, not much happened, but I thought it was a good one for getting the 2 characters, who are essentially 2 of the main 3 characters of the show, to have a relationship and actually care about them moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought episode 3 kind of sucked. I wasn't really interested in it at all. It did nothing to advance the plot. Like, yeah, there was some camaraderie between the 2 of them, but could have done that in 10 minutes in the beginning of an episode and actually done something fruitful with it.
Yeah, I also didn't care for 3 too much.
Just like you have 6 episodes. I don't want an entire episode to be just some like filler thing where they're on a doomed planet and it just turns out that Loki has fallen in love with himself. Like we knew that. We knew that he loves himself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought it was eh. But I thought 4 was a pretty decent episode. I like the twist at the end of that. I found myself laughing pretty hard. When you find out that the damn time lizards are not real. They're just animatronic. I thought that was cool.
What about you, Doug?
Yeah, I think so. And part of me wants to go back and watch 3 because I was a hater of 3 because I felt like nothing, it was nothing really happened. It was all character development, or not with these 2 characters. Now we're 5, like the whole spending an episode with these 2 characters, to me, in episode 3 more sense because you got to buy the fact that these 2 characters have feelings for each other. Like just getting to know each other.
Yeah, I mean everything.
I was
that
really
happens...
worried when I saw episode 3 because WandaVision had a tendency.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you worry about these sort of filler episodes from shows in the past. But I think so far with this one is they haven't really, like, everything that's happened like has kind of been working in the show's favor. Like it doesn't seem like they're wasting time, and like this whatever we're gonna get in the final hour isn't going to be rushed,
Mhm.
like some of these other shows were. So I think that's like also helps it. And like Doug said, like going back and watching it after the fact probably will work better. I mean, this was an episode of TV. Like this was like classic television, like where they
Right.
could spend an hour doing something that you don't have time to do, like in a movie, or that so many of the shows like don't like on streaming that just do like their 13 episodes in a row or whatever that they don't bother. There's like 13 episodes of plot. Let's fucking go. But like they only have 6 hours worth of plot, and they're just doing nonsense for half the episodes. Like that was what the Marvel television shows on Netflix were kind of like,
Mhm.
where they you can clearly tell they were just trying to fill time. With this one, they seemed like they were just more like taking their time because they knew they had it. I could be completely wrong once the finale comes around, because they are not very great with finales so far.
Yeah. So that's the thing is if you're gonna do that, you're like, oh, we got plenty of time to get this done. If the whole series ends poorly, then you fucked up because you had an entire episode that you could have used to flush out the story a little bit better.
Yeah,
So I really
Mhm.
hope the ending is good because that's a hell of a gamble because you have 6 episodes. If you're a 15 to 20 episode season, sure, waste an episode on character
yeah,
development.
because like we used to
Go
get
for
that
it.
all the time on shows like that were that long.
And it's
But
annoying as shit
nowadays,
then
like
too, but
yeah,
you know.
and it was different too because you were watching week at a time also.
Yep.
Different than like where you're streaming where you're like, okay, whatever, I'll just go right to the next episode.
Yeah. And when
But
you
yeah,
watch it
that
on TV and it's 15 episodes or whatever and it's like a 24, it's like in 24. Like
Mhm.
there's a whole episode dedicated to someone's crackhead relative and you're like, "Okay, I get it. It sucks, but there's 23 other episodes."
yeah, and
So,
you can tell like this is an episode where they just needed to fill time
yeah.
because they are mandated to give you 24 episodes
And
based on the title of the television show.
I don't mind that as much as I mind burning an episode when you have a limited amount of time. So I'd rather you
Yeah.
just give me a filler episode if we got plenty of time. But
Mhm.
if we're on a tight schedule, then every episode should really just hit home and have a purpose.
Yeah. Well, and how did you guys think episode 4 rebounded from episode 3?
I remember nothing but the animatronics because it.
Yeah, there was a lot of Mobius,
Yeah.
dealing with him kind of like interrogating Loki and stuff like that. It brought back Sif when they were in that loop, the time loop.
Oh yeah,
Jamie Alexander's character from the first two Thor movies.
that was funny.
Yeah,
I like that.
just kicking him in the groin repeatedly. That was pretty funny. Then it deals with them basically trying to tell the variants that don't know they're variants
Right.
that they are. That was kind of like the big point of the episode.
Yeah, I enjoyed this one a bit more than 3. Just because we were starting to get a little bit more information with what actually is going on. I guess slowly peeling the onion, type of thing. One thing and again, we'll see how the show shakes out, but I feel like they're not giving like the drip feed of information is like too little for me personally. Like 5 ended the same way, which we'll talk about, but like 4, like it ends, and I'm like, ugh, why? I just want more. Like I want a little bit more. You don't have to give me,
It's like Lost. It reminds me of Lost.
yeah. Like it's just not. It's almost there, but it's not enough information and not enough plot per episode, uh, to keep me from not being annoyed at the end of the episode. Like I want more, but I'm also like getting more annoyed each episode because it's not enough information for my taste. Personally,
It feels like they're ending every episode on some weird cliffhanger that doesn't get resolved so they have the animatronics. That's a crazy cliffhanger. It doesn't get addressed in the next episode. And then the next
not
episode
yet. No. Yeah.
ends in another cliffhanger where like, oh, they're going to this thing. It just feels like they're kicking the can down the line. And they're building this suspense and are they doing it?
It's gonna come down to the payoff. Like,
are they doing it so that whatever they came up with at the end that maybe they didn't think fully through is
Or is it
less
just gonna be
bad
boner?
because you're like, I keep feeling. Yeah, that's what I'm feeling though. I'm feeling like, oh, you're getting cliffhangered, and they're like, oh, we have all these great cliffhangers. How do we end it? I don't know, boner. It just that
And that's
worries
just
the
what
shit out of me.
I'm worried about it.
Yeah,
More confident in this one
Not-
just because the 5 episodes I've enjoyed. Like
Yeah.
I didn't really like the second to the last episode of WandaVision. So I was a little more nervous when that last one came about.
Hmm.
But I don't know. I'm digging the tone of this one a lot.
It's a
Like
cool tone,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just
fun. It's been great.
it just kind of feels like they're riffing on this thing, and they don't really know where the fuck it's going. And maybe they wrote this whole thing out and they just stared at a blank page trying to end it.
Like
It's one episode left. Like,
Yeah.
like shit.
at this point, even after episode 4, like as a viewer, you're like, all right, at some point there has to be a payoff where we find out who is controlling all of this.
oh yeah,
There will
and
be.
it's not
Who
gonna,
is?
and it's not going to be what you think. Like,
No.
No, but I mean, I hope they actually do it, because if they don't, if they just continue, like the show ends and you don't find out who it is, and it doesn't connect in,
I
a
read
reasonable way.
a theory today, or a prediction that I didn't think of before, and it seems so obvious now.
Yeah.
I don't. We'll wait till we talk about episode 5, and if you guys want to hear what it was.
I will say the one thing
There's a super popular one theory out there that makes a lot of sense.
We're probably thinking of the same one then.
I'm excited to hear this. The one thing that WandaVision did, I feel better than they did on this one, is that they revealed the villain. They revealed Agatha. What was the second to last episode?
Yes.
Yeah.
So at least you had a whole episode of, taking care of that villain. Whether or not the ending was suitable or up to par or anything like that is fine. But I felt like that structure was better. You end on the cliff note of your penultimate episode being the reveal of the villain.
Mhm.
It might have even been the third to last
Maybe.
that you found out about Agatha, because wasn't the beginning of the second to last?
Yeah, no, Murph, you're right. You
Yeah.
found out in the third to last, because the second to last episode was her going through her.
Yeah, they kind of give you a whole
memories.
hour of
Yeah, her going through her memories.
knowing she's like the bad guy.
Yeah,
'Cause the episodes were shorter.
Yeah.
and then the last episode was like the fight and all that.
I like that better. I like going into an episode knowing what you're going to have, knowing what you're dealing with, and then you can
Mhm.
put in those twists that make it even more richer. But now we're going to be introduced to the big bad evil person and deal with the whole thing in the episode. I feel like that's too much to process most of
Mhm.
the time.
Yeah.
And it just
Yeah.
kind of makes you feel like maybe if they didn't make an episode on a planet that was dying where all they had to do was walk across and get on a train, maybe they could have done a little bit better job, but we'll see. Maybe next week will be phenomenal. It's a good tone.
Well,
though. I like Tom
would we
Hiddleston.
like to? Yeah, Tom Hiddleston's fantastic. Dude can absolutely fucking carry movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After this, like you
Mhm.
should have a Loki fucking series.
Oh, they will.
Yeah. Shall we talk about episode 5 now? Give a spoiler
Yeah.
warning and things like that.
Yeah, it's
Spoiler siren.
All right, spoiler warning. Get out. Leave.
You haven't
if
watched
you have not
Loki.
watched.
Episode 5.
Episode 5, it aired on July 7th. If you have not watched that, get the fuck out and come back when we're done talking about it.
Going once. going
After that,
twice.
we'll get up to our Live Breathe Film Club. There, and I said that easily that time. But yeah, let's do
It's
it.
kind of a tongue twister. Live Breathe Film Club.
Alligator Loki. Is the
Alligator
greatest
Loki.
thing
Yes!
that has ever been invented
Called
ever in
Alligator
television.
Loki. Best Loki.
Disney continuing to bring the animals in and giving them like human-like characteristics.
He'll
even though
have,
this one
he'll
can
have
talk.
its own ride at Animal Kingdom before you know it.
Yeah,
I love Alligator Loki.
Alligator Loki was great.
So good.
he bit off a damn hand.
Yeah.
Did Tom
Yeah.
Hiddleston scream after the hand gets bitten off too? Is like top level in that episode. That was
So-
great.
Who was the actor who played classic Loki, the one who you see the most of, the one who conjures all the stuff. He looks so familiar.
I don't know, but
Who was
that's
that actor?
wonderful.
It was Richard E. Grant from Spice World.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Oh, I was watching it. I was like, that guy reminds me of someone in Spice World.
I've definitely seen him in something
And that's
else.
because he was in it.
There's something else recently
I'm
that
not
I've definitely
going
seen him
crazy.
in.
He was nominated, I think, for Academy Award in like the past 3 years.
Okay.
Like he's like a really like legit actor, and that's why when the post credit scene happened, and you were like, "Well, I don't." This didn't seem like anything special. I'm like, this guy's gonna like do some shit. Like
I didn't recognize
he's
who
a
it was.
legitimate actor. Yeah.
But I only
knew
watched
it.
this clip once.
I kind of just like brushed it out of my mind because I was like, why would they have anyone from Spice World in this fucking show?
I honestly didn't even see the alligator.
Get some
until someone told me. So
Yeah.
Oh, I immediately saw the alligator and I was like, holy shit, alligator Loki.
It's so good.
yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
This was infinitely more fun of an episode than probably most of the episodes, I think. I think this was
It's the most fun episode.
Yeah.
It's just playing with like
At least you had all the
ridiculous
Lokis.
versions. Yeah.
Yeah, it was super ridiculous, but it also like advanced the story.
Did y'all see the Thanos copter?
Yeah, I did.
I heard about it. I didn't
so
actually see it.
Yeah.
I was laughing my butt off of that one. That was
Apparently, James Gunn really wanted them to do that at some point, so they got it into the show.
I love it.
The ending was incredible. The classic Loki, like him coming in and
so good
and bringing up fucking Asgard was incredible.
That was great.
The giant smoke monster was kind of meh.
What is it? I mean, what do you guys think it is?
I think,
or is it anything, or is it just magic?
I think
whoever
it's just a
is controlling?
shitty comic book movie / now TV show trope of like the big swirling vortex from the sky.
And thankfully, they did it in the second to last episode and not the last.
Oh my god!
But I wonder where
we're all grateful about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seemed neat. I don't know how you mind meld with a fucking floating smoke cloud, but cool, they did it, and it opened.
It's like Galactus in Fantastic Four.
Yeah, exactly. In Rise of Silver Surfer.
Oh my god, terrible.
Yeah, it's comic book trope now.
Mobius being there was fantastic.
Very cool. Very cool.
The hug. I loved that hug.
You knew he was gonna be there.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, you can't kill Owen Wilson with 2 episodes to go.
Wow.
Like, he's incredible. People love him.
Yeah.
As much as I'm seeing memes about Dom family, I'm also seeing Mobius, Jessica.
I almost want, like, if they continue and they do more Loki in any form, they gotta bring Mobius back.
Yeah, I think Mobius will be a TV show.
He's a great character.
I don't think they're bringing him into movies or anything.
Yeah, I mean, the one that is most obvious for movies is Sylvie.
Yeah,
like they're absolutely going to continue her, in my opinion.
Probably.
Yeah, I think you're right.
We didn't get post credits in this one at all, which was a little surprising. Not like upset about it because the episode goes right in. Yeah, it has closure. You know where they're going at this point. They're going to be going into the Oz's
I'm confused
castle.
on where they're going. Yeah,
well,
Oz's castle.
Yeah, that's where they're going. We know Mobius is is back at the TVA. He's going to deal with Ravonna. What's her name? How do you pronounce
Rainslayer?
Ravonna Rainslayer.
Ravonna Rainslayer.
Renslayer.
Yeah, he'll be dealing with her.
She seems like a horrible villain at this point too. Just like hasn't really done anything.
She doesn't even, because she's a villain who doesn't know what she's doing.
Yeah,
like she doesn't even have an idea of what.
Yeah, so that's it's not ideal.
She's just basically like
she's a puppet.
She's so into it. Like at this point, like she's just gonna continue going, even though like everything's bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Already bought in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a neat episode. Were those all Lokis when they had that big brawl, or were they people pretending to be Lokis?
I think they were all Lokis.
Yeah, I think they were all Lokis, but I didn't get a...
Because they all had the exact same personalities. They were all screwing each other over and everything.
That was pretty funny.
And Tom Hiddleston was just like the main Tom Hiddleston, just like looked so like frustrated about the entire like, because then he can like see like this is really how I am
Yeah.
when he's seeing them all interact. It's really funny.
Yeah,
So I'm glad.
self-reflection for him. I think,
Yeah,
he comes out of this, he'll be a better Loki.
yeah. Considering 3 days ago he was trying to murder all of.
Yeah.
Like you keep forgetting about that.
Yeah, he won't be like the villain / anti-hero type of thing anymore.
No, he's like changing.
Yeah.
It's cool, and it's more earned than even the movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is impressive considering it's taking place in such a short amount of time.
Mhm.
When you think about it. But what do you got for predictions for the finale?
I'm still sticking with Kang the Conqueror or whoever they paying as that character.
I think
That's what I'm.
I
I
think at this
really
point
don't
it's
know.
not
That's
gonna be
the
someone big. I don't think there's gonna be a huge reveal. Just they have
Mhm.
not built any sort of tension up as to who
and
it
that
could be.
and
Yeah.
that's what I'm worried about because I think if they do that, then it's gonna really sour the whole show. I mean,
Yeah.
not. I mean, different
do
aspects will
what?
still be really
If
good.
it's just
If there's
nobody?
not a, if it's just nobody, if there's not a good payoff for who is controlling everything, I
Doug.
think I will be disappointed.
Or is hanging out at the boner's been behind it all.
The boner.
That would be terrible. I
Uh,
honestly, I don't know. I don't know who, but that's my prediction is Kang or whoever Kang is.
Hit us with these
Right now.
fan theories. Let us know what the people are thinking. Give us something juicy.
All right. Doug, do you want to go?
You might have a different one than I know, because the two main fan theories I've seen is Kang the Conqueror, which makes sense because, and then that it's another Loki is the two
That
big fan theories that I've seen.
That
Other
was the
Loki
one
is
thing
the
I
one
was thinking of.
is the
to
one
be like
I
the
saw.
lamest one is other Loki.
That would be really, really stupid.
It
I
makes
really
them
hope that doesn't.
like
happen.
it didn't, both doesn't make sense and it makes sense. Like
It-
this show is all about Loki.
I would be so upset
It
if
would
they
be
do that.
fucking horrible.
You don't have to build the character because we know the character already. So that gets rid of that whole problem. I agree with what JP said. You can't bring the show and just make it work. Like you need to build the character over time, like the way that they did with Catherine Hahn in WandaVision. So like this is kind of a way to get around that. Like I don't know how they would do it though, because I don't know how it makes sense. But I'm not
Do you think
a
that
sci-fi writer.
Richard E. Grant's the bad guy? That he didn't actually just die? And maybe
I
Um,
didn't even think about that.
I didn't think about that
if
either.
he controls the smoke dog, he can make it look like he was killed.
Yeah.
He clearly has more powers than any of the other Lokis. It'd be a weird
Yeah,
way to just
just
like
live
sort of waste that
longer.
performance. Yeah. Maybe he's someone else. Maybe he's the bad guy. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't even know.
Sure, it's not Tour de France Loki that the one that's behind this all.
As long as it's not fucking Kid Loki, because Kid Loki was the worst. I hated Kid Loki so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. I think it ultimately has to be an existing character that we know already.
Alligator.
Whether
Loki.
it's somebody in the greater MCU
Alligator Loki.
Yeah.
The
that we've
whole
seen
time.
already, or another Loki.
That would be hilarious. He's pulling the strings the entire time.
That would be really funny.
Yeah, I mean it's tough though. Whatever they do, people are. There's definitely going to be people that aren't happy with it because, again, so many people are hoping
Gonna
for
be
Kang,
satisfying everybody.
just like so many people were hoping for
Yeah.
Mephisto.
I mean, it's the
Call
only
for
one
it.
that logically makes sense, and it probably won't happen. But now that I'm thinking, what happens if I don't know who he could be? But what happens if Owen Wilson, Mobius, is actually the one pulling all the strings? I have no idea who the fuck he
I
could
don't like
be,
that.
but
I like
I'm
them
just
being
saying.
bros.
I
Yeah.
like them being bros too, but
they
I'm
hugged
trying
it
to.
out.
Maybe they could be evil.
At least
bros,
that would
then.
be, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Maybe it's Luke. Maybe it's Luke Wilson.
oh
There you go.
big,
Plot twist.
big. Anthony.
He's another version of Mobius.
We'll get to that.
Or
Um,
the lesser popular Wilson brother.
Yeah,
Yes,
it could be Andrew Wilson.
never heard of him.
We'll talk about him when we get
Exactly.
to Bottle Rocket because he was in it.
Yeah, I really wish they had an episode to have in their pocket. So if we had 2 episodes of like introduce a villain, what's this villain about? Oh, cool. I hope that villain gets defeated. Now it's just gonna be a clusterfuck. I think next week's gonna be weird.
Yeah, but remember, like back in the day when we would watch like 24, we'd always get up to the final episode, and even though there'd been 23 already, I'd be like, how in the world like finish this in only 1 hour? And they always did.
But they
And
never
sometimes more satisfying than
introduced a
others.
villain in
No,
the last
no.
hour.
Nah, I guess
I mean, maybe
They
they have.
didn't.
There were some really
I
bad
don't
seasons.
think they ever.
But
Yeah,
I feel like
don't
that's
think
like
they
the
did.
worst decision ever, is to just introduce the villain. in
And
the
that's
last
why
episode.
it's kind of like they're not going to do it.
no, it's
That's what I'm worried about.
I would
You're
be
worried
more
they
worried.
are going to do it, or they're not.
I'm
gonna do
worried.
it.
I'm worried that they're not going to introduce another the villain,
I'd be worried that they
or
are,
it's going to end up
dude.
being Loki, like just
Yeah.
Tom Hiddleston, a different version of him, which I would also be very upset about.
I don't know. I'd be more worried that they introduce a brand new villain in the last episode because that's destined for failure.
So this is the time
Unless it
after all
fed
time,
into some-
correct?
Yeah, this is the very very end of everything where everything
What if
comes
this?
together.
What if it's the Loki that Thanos killed?
But he's dead.
Like our Loki. Exactly. I guess there's no way for him to get
Well,
there
they're
unless
not-
he gets kind
Yeah.
of
And
tapped, right?
and he was also like a good guy.
I
at
know,
the very
yeah, I
moment that
know.
he died.
It would just be a cool way to bring back the original Loki.
It'd be great.
They have to introduce someone who's pulling the strings of the TVA. Like the TVA, they established as like this mythology and like this thing that's going to feed into other things going forward in movies.
Yeah, but they proved
So
that
they
it was
have
kind
to-
of false and like made on false
The
pretenses.
time travel isn't false.
I mean,
and
we don't
the-
even know if there was a real Infinity Stones. It could have just been gems, like a
Well,
shop.
He could.
I think the TVA is real. It's just who's controlling it isn't.
Yeah,
we
but
don't know yet.
the idea that the
Right.
TVA has been around forever can be something that's been fabricated. I mean,
You only
from
know
the
what
viewer's
you-
perspective, we're all seeing this from Loki's eyes. He doesn't fucking know. He just got pulled in.
I guess I'm speaking more to
But
like
yes,
the
the time
multiverse,
travel exists.
the multiverse stuff
Sure.
that they've established really nicely. If they just don't introduce, a decent villain or someone controlling the strings, then I think
Or-
it's gonna.
It's all
Kind of-
bullshit and magic that a Loki has charmed everyone into believing exists
That's fucking stupid.
among
It,
mirrors.
it
and...
follows the themes of the TV
Yeah, I
show.
hate that.
Yeah, that is that.
I'm not
I
saying
fucking
it's a
hate.
great theory, man, but I'm saying
It's terrible.
It's one. That
I
could
actually
happen.
think that follows the theme of the TV show more than just bringing in a villain on the last episode.
Maybe.
Then I will end up. not
Yeah,
liking
I'm
this
okay
show.
with it being a Loki, but if it's all like a fucking enchanted dream, then I'm
Yeah.
like throwing my hands up in the air.
Well,
I mean, then at
we'll find out
least,
soon.
yeah, at least Tom Hiddleston, or Loki's Tom Hiddleston, his growth has been great. But if that ends up happening, yeah,
I'm calling
Sad.
Spice World's coming back next week.
You will see. He
Gone.
was listed as a special guest star in the credits. So maybe he'll be special enough to come back for another episode.
Special guest villain.
Mm. All right, that's it for Loki. Our next episode, assuming we record it on a Wednesday, we will talk about the series finale. I'm assuming it's the series finale.
Yeah.
Could be a season finale. Who knows? I don't know what to call these Marvel shows when they end because I feel like they'll just bring some back if they're successful or. But yeah,
And then we have no
Let's-
Marvel shows to talk about for ever and ever and ever.
Ms. Marvel's not till the fall.
Yeah.
I think What If is in August. That's the cartoon one.
Oh
looks-
yeah,
which-
forgot about
which-
that.
Looks so dumb. It's just
Yeah, well-
stupid scenarios. Like, what if this character and this character was switched?
Yeah.
How'd you fucking come up with that?
What if Nick Fury took a shit before dinner, not
Yeah.
after?
I get the like, I get the Captain Britain shit. Like that makes sense to me. But if it's like, what if Black Panther was really Star-Lord? Fucking why?
The only thing cool about that is Chadwick Boseman's actually in it.
Yeah, it's cool, but it's just like it doesn't. It just seems so out of left field. It seems like something you do in like season 10
Yeah,
instead of like the first 5
batch of
episodes
stuff.
it. Yeah, I don't know. It just seems goofy. That and it's a cartoon.
Yeah. Yeah, who knows if we'll talk about each episode with that one. We'll see how it goes when it comes out. What are you saying, Doug? You like cartoons?
That doesn't bother me. It's a
Yeah,
cartoon.
I'm
I
excited
I like
for it.
cartoons.
I think sometimes
but
they can
don't
do
like
things a little bit.
cartoons.
But I imagine we'll get the release date for that over the next
Yeah.
week.
Mhm.
Since it's supposed to be an August show. And then and then obviously we have Black Widow coming out this week, so we'll be talking about that soon. But yeah, Ms. Marvel's the next live action one. That probably won't be till September. And then Hawkeye also later this year.
And Miss Marvel leads kind of directly into Captain Marvel's too, right?
Yeah, the Marvels.
Yeah. That's interesting.
And then who knows what Hawkeye will lead into, but I believe Florence Pugh's in that one. So it'll which makes sense that since Hawkeye and Black Widow always had their thing, shared a lot of stuff. Yeah, let's move on to our feature presentation, our inaugural installment of the Live Breathe Film Club. If y'all remember, obviously you three do, but when we did our trivia contest a few weeks ago, we did a bracket. I won it. The JP came up with the genre to choose from of 90s film comedies. I selected Bottle Rocket from Wes Anderson. It's his debut film. It was one that none of us had seen. It starred and was written by Owen Wilson, so I felt it was appropriate, the fact that we've been talking about him so much lately with Loki. But yeah, man, it's very. I was watching this weekend. Simon Pegg was doing a live like Q&A thing on Instagram, and one of the questions was, "What's your favorite Wes Anderson movie?" And he said Bottle Rocket, and then I said last time when we were talking about it, I said how Scorsese said it was like one of his top 10 favorite films of the 90s. So very interested to hear what all you guys think of this one. Got some questions written down.
I have the trailer lined up if we want to. If everyone in the chat wants to take a look at the trailer, I got graphics, I got scenes.
Oh yeah, do your thing, man.
Yeah.
Do we talk during the trailer? What do we do? Do we just watch it?
Apparently nothing's going. Hold on, it's muted.
Last time, this is so exciting. Talking about it, I said how Scorsese.
Hold on.
Preparation
I got everyone's shit going. Hold on. I'm dying here. All right. Wait for it. Now we're good. Nope. No sound.
Bragging.
We're gonna get it.
Obviously good quickness.
Yeah, in and out pretty fast.
Real fast. Including the coin collection and the earrings.
You took the earrings, Dignan?
I bought the earrings for my mother on her birthday. Maybe we should have robbed your house. You ever think of that? 3 outstanding young men.
Even the Wes Anderson trailer.
Come on, baby, and rock with me tonight.
Bob Mapplethorpe, potential getaway driver. Go.
I really want to be a part of this team. And I'm the only one with a car. That's good. That's good. Because that hits me right here.
I'm Anthony. You speak English?
Oh, Mapplethorpe. It's like a
Amazing
Wes
how
Anderson
close you
name.
can get to a girl when you're not allowed to talk to her.
And my name's Dignan, man.
You in the army, yes?
No, I just have short hair.
We are a team.
Dignan, I can't focus unless the gun is on the table.
Well, you just paid for it.
Shut up.
Excuse me. Are the explosives really necessary?
Owen C. Wilson.
And that's the trailer.
And that is the trailer to Bottle Rocket.
Yep.
All right. So, did you have any other tricks up your sleeve?
No, that's it. I got a
Hey.
brand new little
That's pretty cool, though.
work in
I like that.
progress overlay for us. I got the poster
wonder-
up.
I guess we didn't do any sort of copyright problems. We'll see when the
It's on YouTube.
yeah, exactly. Everything's allowed on YouTube.
Play a YouTube video.
All right, but
It's
yeah, I
Bottle
got-
Rocket too. It's not like we're doing like the latest Marvel movie.
it's not a Disney property.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fucking Bottle Rocket.
Although Bottle Rocket might technically be a Disney property.
At this point, yeah,
no,
it's
it's
probably part of the
Sony.
MCU.
All right, let's go with these questions that I came up with. Let's discuss this interesting film. All right, so first off, like it's labeled as a comedy. Would you even describe this movie as a comedy? Did you find it funny? Throwing this out to everyone.
I don't believe I laughed one time during this entire movie.
I chuckled, but I didn't like.
I might have laughed once. I think.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think it was like overly funny. It was quirky, but not as quirky as other Wes Anderson movies, I suppose. But
Still pretty fucking quirky.
Yeah, no, quirky definitely is a good word. Definitely sums it up. The only scenes that like I did like really laugh out loud were the two robberies.
yeah, those were
'Cause
great.
they were so outrageous and unrealistic that those ones I was laughing at. But yeah, like it definitely wasn't even as funny as like his other movies, which
No,
are
definitely not.
even more dramatic than this one. So like he definitely came off slow off the gate. I don't know how much of the script was him versus Owen Wilson because the two of them co-wrote it. Like I said, Owen C. Wilson because he was still such a unknown person at the time.
He was just a
But yeah.
skateboarder.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like-
it definitely wasn't a laugh out loud movie at all.
No.
I did like the cast of characters. I liked a lot of the supporting characters more than Owen Wilson and his brother. But
J-
like
James-
Applejack, I liked him a lot.
Applejack was
Applejack had like 3 lines.
Applejack was on their team, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Applejack and Kumar, like just
Yeah,
the random
I lo-
members of the team.
I love those guys. They were great.
Applejack was like responsible for him going to
He
jail.
was. He was.
I thought James Caan had like the one part where he gives shit to Luke and Owen Wilson's brother
Mhm.
in real life, Andrew Wilson, Bob Mapplethorpe's brother in the movie. I thought that like part was like mildly amusing.
Yeah.
Just because James Caan's like a badass and intimidating and funny. But yeah, overall, definitely not a funny movie.
That scene actually surprised me a little bit because this movie, everyone just seems like a fucking idiot. Like they all seem like idiots, like just people that are
Oh, they definitely are.
like empty
Yeah.
vessels. And I thought he was an idiot too. This movie reminded me of Napoleon Dynamite, which is
Yeah.
insane because
Actually, yeah.
it came out afterwards. If you, I thought that this movie was inspired by Napoleon Dynamite just because no
Wait,
one's a
this came
real
out
human
after?
being in it.
No, this was before.
I was
Came out
gonna say.
before. No one seems like a real human being in this movie.
And
They just seem
that-
like it's a Wes Anderson movie in that regards, whereas like the people are not genuine at all.
Yeah, but maybe because this was the first one, but his characters are way more fleshed out than this usually.
And I thought James Caan's character was just going to be like another loser that has absolutely no idea what he's doing, but then I guess it turns
Yeah,
out that he
no.
does.
Yeah, it turns out he was the one fucking conning them the whole time.
So that was mildly surprising to me.
Yeah.
It feels so weird. I don't know how to describe it. It just feels like I'm looking at a snow globe of people. Like they don't
Nope.
feel like they exist in the real world.
Napoleon Dynamite, though, that's a good.
Yeah.
I agree.
As like this influenced Napoleon Dynamite, like
Mhm.
It probably
Got-
did. Yeah.
yeah,
Because the
I
movie really
imagine it did.
wasn't- The movie really wasn't about anything. Like,
The movie just sort of started, like
yeah, it didn't really
There's,
have a
like,
plot.
in the middle of conversations that like we're supposed to know, like history with robbing and all this
Mhm.
other stuff, and I'm like, what I miss, like the mental, or when he was in the mental hospital in the beginning,
Yeah.
and he's talking about like climbing out I thought that was kind of funny and like a good setup,
Yeah.
like to get the movie going. But then like it just sort of like went and was going quicker than I was expecting it to, and I wasn't really following it at first.
And
Yeah.
like Luke Wilson falling in love with the maid, that was so like the way that they
So
designed
awkward.
that was so awkward. I was like, is she really in love with him or is she like conning him? Like this is so weird.
Of course she's really in love
Conversations
with
don't
him.
happen like this.
She's words on a page. She's not an actual human being.
Oh my god.
So weird.
It was very weird
So
for sure.
They rob a bookstore, and then their
That
big
was funny.
payoff is to live in a motel for a summer.
What the fuck their plan was?
I don't think they had one.
And all they had left was $500, like, and
And
like,
then he gave that to her.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
they were absolutely terrible at their jobs.
Yep.
I think for me, like an influence was probably like Coen Brothers. It kind of like reminded me of like some of their like more comedic movies, like where the characters are really in over their heads.
Like
And
Lebowski?
just yeah, like a Lebowski, like Fargo, the bad guys in Fargo, some of their other stuff. But obviously, it wasn't like anywhere near as dark as like a Coen Brothers movie or anything like that. I was reading that some people like thought it kind of reminded them of like more comedic version of like Reservoir Dogs, which I didn't really get. I mean, I can get the fact that like Tarantino writes weird characters.
Yeah, I don't really get that either.
And Wes Anderson writes weird characters, but like that's really it.
One thing
this
that kept-
movie makes Tarantino
Reservoir Dogs, it was all
characters-
like suspense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This movie made Tarantino characters seem a little bit more realistic and three-dimensional to me, honestly.
One thing that kept coming to mind for me was, and it's not really influence, just it reminded me a lot of like really, really terrible Danny Ocean members, like in the Ocean's movie. Like if they just brought in like these really, really terrible con men and robbers to do a job, this would be them.
It legitimately feels
So
like a
it-
movie someone made for college.
Yeah.
Not something like a studio would back or buy
Uh,
or
Yeah.
anything like that.
I think it would have been very hard for them to get this made, like
Mhm.
nowadays.
I think impossible.
Like now that the indie system is so much different than it was back in the 90s, where like they were just throwing out money to everyone. It's like big name. Not like tons of money, but millions at least.
I mean, Kevin
Yeah, I'm
Smith
sure this
with
movie didn't cost much to
Clerks
make.
got money to make his movie.
Yeah.
And
What did you guys think of Owen Wilson as Luke Wilson as performers? Did you think they came out like the way you see them now, like for the majority of their career? Do you think they were like fucking struggling with what they were doing?
I thought they were fine. They came across as, pretty strong to me.
I
Oh, Luke Wilson was more like he always like is like he was natural Luke Wilson. Right off the gate. I mean, Owen Wilson's character was a little different than the majority of the roles that he
He's just
does.
strange.
Like exactly.
he's more like go-getter instead of being like a weird passive guy that says wow all the time.
Yeah. Or even like the fuck like I mean I guess the most similar character he would be is his Shanghai Noon character, where he's like trying to he's committing crimes. It's he's a cowboy.
Do something
only-
first, think about it after, like,
Yeah.
just act instead of thinking. And
But like Royal Bannon and like Shanghai Noon and Shanghai Nights is like a genius in comparison to this guy. And like you can see him actually committing crimes, but again, you're not supposed to actually seeing this guy be a successful criminal. I mean, by the end of the movie, he's in jail.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought Luke Wilson was very much like a Luke Wilson role. Like it's an old school like type role. I mean, he was a little more laid back than in like that, I would say, but not much different than what his ultimate career turned out to be.
yeah, they're very obviously very, very green in terms of acting, and
Mhm.
it shows significantly, I think. Yeah, he's
Like-
just like a Luke Wilson character.
Like Owen Wilson easily could have had a strange like character actor career after this one, based
Probably.
on like what he did. Like he's an oddball character, but instead he went to like doing mainstream comedies. I mean, he was one of the biggest comedic actors of like the 2000s.
Yeah.
Wedding Crashers was freaking huge.
Yeah.
Starsky and Hutch, like plenty of other ones. That's like pretty interesting. The fact that he can go like back and forth between these like weird, very strange Wes Anderson type movies to the mainstream stuff that people predominantly know him for.
Yeah. It's wild that they got where they are after this one, to be perfectly honest. At least from my opinion.
No, I would agree. You wouldn't think starting with such a weird indie type movie that you turn into like part of the frat pack.
Yeah.
The two of them, Will Ferrell, Ben Stiller, etc.
But it clearly has a lot of reverence for people within the industry. So, I mean, maybe this was a positive for them in terms of getting it, because it seems to be well regarded amongst filmmakers, which I guess I'm not a filmmaker.
No, that's a very good point. And those other types of actors that I just mentioned, like Ben Stiller has done Wes Anderson movies, and he does weird like type of like indie movies as well, on top of like the mainstream stuff. Jack Black as well. Like they all kind of have like these, I don't know, different sides to them. It's just the ones that we like mostly talk about are the big mainstream ones that make a lot of money, and not these weird quirky ones.
And then there's fucking Jason Schwartzman, who just does these movies.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
But yeah, he'll be on Righteous Gemstone soon. So that'll be like the most mainstream comedy thing he does since God knows what.
That's coming back?
Yeah, they're filming it.
That's great.
I'm hoping we get something soon, like comes out by the end of the year. Did you guys think this movie was like too Wes Anderson-y? Like you saw like it was like his later movies or whatever, or just like what you imagine a Wes Anderson movie.
I think in certain aspects it was like the banter between the characters and how everyone communicated with each other definitely was, but not really how the movie was shot. Like there was inklings of it, but for the most part, I thought the movie was shot pretty like differently than a lot of his other stuff. But the banter between the characters, especially like Owen Wilson and Luke Wilson, was very Wes Anderson-y.
Yeah, I think that the
Personally.
shooting it and the production value comes with the money, where he was allowed to create his own hipster nightmares in terms of like aesthetic and everything. I think he was a little limited here, so he had to make do with what he had. The fucking scene where Owen Wilson shows up in a fucking yellow jumpsuit, I actually physically groaned and said, "Holy fucking shit! That here comes the Wes Anderson garbage." And sure enough, the next scene, everyone's wearing yellow jumpsuits when they're going robbing a fucking ice house. The man just doesn't live in the real world. It's so strange. Whatever goes on in his head is just not a world I ever want to live in.
His movies are like live action cartoons.
Yeah, totally.
But not like
this
good cartoons.
Yeah, not like strange ones.
Yeah, this didn't feel completely like that. It almost, like JP said, it felt like Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah. Which
it was definitely unique.
World.
No, that's definitely true for sure.
Apparently, Napoleon Dynamite's just Iowa, because apparently Iowa is stuck 10 to 15 years behind the entire United States in some parts. People are still wearing Jenkos and things, is what I hear.
Interesting.
That's horrible.
If you listen and you're from Iowa, let us know. That's only what I hear. I'm sure it's very lovely. But yeah, it felt like Napoleon Dynamite.
You brought up.
Ooh, Wes Anderson.
What you brought up about the jumpsuits, yeah, that's probably the most Wes Anderson-y thing about the film. I did think there were a bunch of shots that very much reminded me of like later movies. It wasn't as much as later movies, but every time he always has things that are like perfectly centered, and
like when they're standing in the field lighting the firework, and then they all just meander weirdly back.
Yeah,
towards the back of the frame. That
Yeah, he
Yeah.
definitely likes what is it, symmetry, I guess.
Yes, he's
Big
very
time.
much about symmetrical shots. And there were a bunch of them in this movie, not nearly as much as like later on.
No,
Um,
not
so that's what
colorful.
I saw the most from this one. I didn't necessarily get so much the dialogue just because his later movies are so much different than these ones. Maybe if I had seen like Life Aquatic or Darjeeling Limited, I would think differently because maybe they're more like that.
Life
But
Aquatic is one that definitely reminded me of the dialogue in this.
gotcha.
Or the
Yeah,
yeah,
because his later movies definitely have different. I don't know. They're like Moonrise Kingdom and Grand Budapest Hotel. They're very much of like piece, I would say, where they like you look at those two back to back, and you're like, and you know, like from shot number one, that this is a Wes Anderson movie.
Yep.
And like if you not even you don't even have to like you can be blind or just like listening to it, and you're like, this is a Wes Anderson movie.
You can hear the
You can also tell from the
photos.
character. You're like, oh, there's Tilda Swinton character and you actors, and you just know
Bill
that
Murray.
it's his movie. Yeah, exactly, Bill Murray. I'd have to go back and watch Rushmore again and see like how much they seem in common. I don't know if don't remember if Owen Wilson was involved in that one at all. I don't remember him being in it or writing it. I think he took off and then came back with Royal Tenenbaums. But like I thought Royal Tenenbaums was fantastic and
Yeah,
way
that's-
different than this one.
That's my favorite of his.
Apparently, Owen Wilson is in Rushmore, or at least is
He is in Rushmore?
somewhat credited.
Yeah,
for it.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, he wrote
Yeah,
the
I-
screenplay with Wes Anderson for Rushmore.
got it. Yeah, I rented that one on DVD from Netflix. Like, I guess I don't know, 10 years ago. Whenever you could do that, or whenever that was the only thing that people did.
Yeah.
Ah, some good times there. Some good
Yeah.
times.
But yeah, then that one you get a very Jason Schwartzman performance.
Yeah.
For people on here that have seen multiple Wes Anderson movies, like where would you rank it among them? Doug, I know you've seen Grand Budapest Hotel. Not sure if you've seen too many other ones.
I can't think of the other ones I've seen. I know I've seen more Wes Anderson than just Grand Budapest.
Did you see the Life Aquatic?
I dislike. I haven't seen Life Aquatic. I don't generally seeking out Wes Anderson movies, although I did like Grand Budapest Hotel. But I don't know, like other way to say it. I get like definitely Grand Budapest Hotel was better than this one, but yeah, I watched it and kind of felt like a little bored from the story. I just didn't find it interesting, and so
Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely didn't find it as
it's kind of low.
Yeah, for sure. I'd probably say the same thing. It'd probably be the lowest or
Person to rank it because
Yeah, for me,
it would be. I would imagine low on the list.
yeah. For me, I'd put it at the bottom of the ones I've seen. I think I've seen 7 of them, maybe. This, Rushmore, Royal Tenenbaums, Isle of Dogs, Fantastic Mr. Fox, Moonrise Kingdom, and Grand Budapest Hotel. So yeah, 7. I think he's made 9. I would put this bottom of the 7.
Yeah.
I just think he got better at what he did moving on. Like he has a very unique sensibility, and it is an acquired taste. If you don't like it, you're, like I don't think it's unlikely you will like any of them. The only ones that I can say someone might like, and if they don't like him, like his movies, are the stop motion ones, because they at least have that different type of creativity to them. And they're a little bit more unique for that reason because you don't see stop motion so often. And like I kind of said, his characters seem like cartoons, so the fact that it actually is one, I think that can be a way to maybe pull people in that wouldn't necessarily want to see Rushmore or one of these other ones where these characters are just so goofy in like a real life setting.
I just didn't find the characters that interesting. Like they weren't engaging, and that's usually, at least for me, what keeps me interested in his movies is the characters are they're outlandish, unique, a lot like cartoon, like you said. Um, the characters in this movie just didn't really do it for the most part for me.
Yeah, they weren't. I don't think they were fully fleshed out enough, like at all. Like
Yeah.
there was the Bob, like of the three main characters, the one is basically his own personality trait with his brother picks on him, um, but then he goes and helps them, which causes conflict. Um, Owen Wilson is just like going through a malaise of life and agreeing to do everything, or Luke Wilson, and then falls in love randomly, which is how love works. But falls in love with a cleaning lady at a motel that they're hiding at.
Doesn't speak English.
Yeah. So odd relationship pairing, but whatever. And then Owen Wilson's character is just kind of like he's a wild card. Like you don't necessarily know what you're gonna get out of the guy.
He seems manic.
But he seems manic, but he's not as much of a wild card as like Charlie Kelly, where like you're like invested in every action that he does. So yeah, I think his characters later on were just way more fleshed out, which makes a big difference when you're making a film that's as odd and quirky as something like this. JP, have you seen any of his other ones?
Nope. And I have absolutely no desire to even wade my toes into the world of Wes Anderson.
In the Wes Anderson verse.
I despise his aesthetic. I despise his character designs, and just from the trailers I can tell that this is no fucking world that I would ever want to be a part of a movie going experience with.
Remember that Fandango? Was it Fandango? That one commercial he had that we used to see in the movie theaters all the time in like, I don't know, 2003, 2004, where he had like the birds and then like they fly away. Do you remember that?
Vaguely,
I don't remember that.
I do, because I remember his dumb face.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think you've grown probably every
Yeah.
at Lowe's or AMC.
Wes Anderson is just not for me. There's nothing.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
there's nothing
not
that
for
he
everyone.
does that resonates with me. It's almost like a nightmare scenario to be stuck in one of his movies. I don't know what it is, man, but just don't get it.
Yeah, I know. I get the fact that you don't get it because it is fucking strange.
Yep.
All right, so last question. I'm gonna guess what JP would not recommend.
No, Run for the Hills. Do not watch this.
Doug would not recommend.
And we gotta get rid of calling it a comedy.
We have to get rid of
Just
calling it a
the movie.
comedy. That okay?
It's definitely not
So-
a comedy.
Would you not recommend this not a comedy, or would you recommend this not a comedy?
Oh, absolutely not recommend it.
Absolutely not recommend this not a comedy. Okay. Corey, I think he would recommend it, but with pretenses before giving his recommendation or warnings or something like that. Corey, what do you think?
Yeah, mostly correct. I mean, I would recommend this movie to people that like either his movies and haven't seen it yet, or these types of movies, but also with a warning, definitely. I think most people wouldn't really like this movie, but I could be wrong. I mean, I like his movies, and it was definitely not my favorite, and like I said, it was hard to stay invested. So I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something, but I think you're pretty much right.
Come for the Applejack, stay for the weird pseudo reality.
I love Applejack. I will say that. And Kumar.
I'm in the same wheelhouse as you. If I would recommend it to people who like Wes Anderson movies but haven't caught up on his early ones, I'd recommend it to people that are into learning more about 90s indie movies. There isn't many other people that I would recommend I
Napoleon Dynamite fans, maybe.
Yeah.
yeah yeah.
Well,
If it,
I mean, Napoleon
Even
Dynamite
that, I
at
don't
least
even.
has some comedy to it.
it had Uncle Rico.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's his face and his cousins?
Um,
I forgot.
Pedro
yeah, Pedro.
Oh,
Vote
yeah,
for
Pedro.
Pedro.
and his cousins.
And it had the tots.
Yeah.
Thompson.
Can't forget about the tots.
Other than that, that movie's a fucking dumpster fire too. But I'm in a minority
Wait.
with that one.
Yeah,
I never really loved it either.
But yeah, had I seen this one, definitely wouldn't have thrown this one in the cards for the movie.
We're expanding our horizons.
We're
Yeah,
trying. We're
that's the point.
trying.
I
That's
feel
the
like
point,
if
right?
you're a young, up and coming hipster wannabe filmmaker, this is probably a great fucking movie for you to watch.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong
Yeah.
with that.
Or Michael Scorsese.
But yeah, I guess we're gonna have to figure out who picks movie number 2, who picks the genre. So we'll do that maybe over the next week.
Yeah.
And then we'll have our next movie, our next Live Breathe Film Club movie to go to talk about maybe for the end of July, beginning of August.
Yeah.
At the rate we're going right now. And yeah, hopefully it's one that we all haven't seen, but we all ultimately enjoy by the end of it, and we wholeheartedly recommend it. But if anyone listening has seen this film and thinks we're fucking stupid and that we're uncultured swine for not enjoying this film,
Or
tell us.
completely agrees with me. I would love to hear
Yeah.
that. Let's
Or
talk. Let's hate
it's
on
just-
Wes Anderson together.
100% on the same page as JP.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. So yeah, I guess don't go watch it if you didn't watch it yet. But if you did fall in one of the categories, maybe you should. It's up to you. It's no longer on Amazon Prime.
No.
When we originally suggested it, it was
It was
Amazon
on.
Prime.
I
And
can't believe it got removed that
It
quickly.
expired hours before we all got a chance to finish it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
But
That's crazy.
because that would have sucked. I would have had to pay for it if I
Oh
didn't
my
finich it when I did.
Yeah.
If
would've
I
been
had
a
to pay
bummer.
for this movie, I would have been infinitely more angry during the segment.
All right, though. That's all we got for today. So thank you again for listening. Any new listeners, thank you for giving us a shot. Any old or reliable listeners, we genuinely appreciate it. After this, we're going to be covering 2015 in our yearly film series on YouTube and Twitch. So if you're streaming for them now, watch them right after this. Otherwise, watch it on YouTube later on as it's uploaded there. On our next episode, we're finally going to get to discussing our favorite film scores. And this was one that was by one of our listeners that they wanted to hear us talk about it. So we are going to do that on our next. I believe on the next episode, we'll also be covering our thoughts on Black Widow, on Fear Street Part 2, on the Loki series finale, Forever Purge, and the Tomorrow War. So there's been a lot. Some of these things we've already watched, but we wanted to hold off on them just because there was a lot to cover today. So stay tuned for that one, and you'll get to hear all that. But as always, this has been Corey, Doug, JP, and Murph at Live Breathe Film. We'll see you again next time.
Yeah.
Cool beans.
Hot Twitch.
Chilling.
I feel like that's how these things. Oh, I feel like that's how these things always start and end. Hi Twitch.
Did
Hi Twitch.
did Kate watch that movie with you, Corey?
Yeah, she did.
Hey Kate, what'd you think of that movie? Think it was any good?
It's like I will kill you for asking me that question. I hate it.
She's a big fan of Applejack.
Or she said Applejack.
Yeah. Two big fans of Applejack. Applejack and Kumar. Kumar, that's it's the same actor. He was in Grand Budapest Hotel.
Yeah,
but,
he was in other stuff from the.
but
Wes
he's
Anderson
also,
one.
you know what other movie he's in? He's in The Terminal.
Oh yeah, he is.
Yeah, he's Gupta.
I wouldn't remember his name, but you just watched it this week.
Just watched the movie for the first time in a while this week, so yeah.
What are you wowing? What are you Owen Wilsoning?
Just fucking Kumar. Wow. Great. He was a great actor.
He's not as angry in this movie as he is in the Terminal. He's so angry in that movie.
Does he run?
Yeah, I
the
remember him
terminal?
being funny in that one. So Kate
Yeah.
said not worth the rewatch. So you heard it here. If you're
Yeah.
still on here.
And she's a big up and coming Wes Anderson film fan, so
Ugh.
she likes his other movies.
All
The
right.
ones that we've watched at least.
Got it. All right. What do you say we get into
Glad
2015?
that you guys.
What?
Because
Sorry.
I was worried that I was like watching this movie super delayed again.
Yeah, you
For a
kinda
second. Yeah, a
delayed.
little bit. Oh, congratulations, Doug. You guys won the Stanley Cup.
Oh boy. Hockey.
Congratulations. Another
Two in a
one.
row.
Damn
Another
it,
one
Doug,
in the
what-
book.
Two in a row
Going
since
back.
you've lived there.
2 for Florida.
God damn it, Doug. Why'd you have to change your fucking movie?
I would just
I was getting fancy and shit, and you gotta change it. God damn it. I gotta do extra work.
Yeah, man. Ever since Doug moves to Tampa, they win
I mean, I
2 Stanley Cups and a Super Bowl, and they were in They were in the World Series.
They lost because they took their picture out.
Chris, yeah.
How stupid.
Mhm. All right, what were you saying,
But
Doug?
yeah, I mean, it would have been better to leave the picture in.
Hmm.
What was I saying?
Yeah. You were worried about what?
Just glad that you guys didn't. I'm glad you guys didn't find this movie funny either, because I was worried that you guys were going to come to this movie club and be like, hilarious.
Glowing, like
Did you-
completely
I was gonna
glowing
be
about
like,
it.
God damn it!
Did you really have any thought that I would enjoy a Wes Anderson film?
I mean, me, I could see, but yeah, no.
Maybe
even-
JP will shock us, but then I was watching and I'm like, nope, he's not.
No.
JP's like, I fucking loved this movie.
Yeah, let me tell you about a movie I absolutely love.
Oh man.
I got fancy new graphics for our shit. I'm gonna put up the movie posters for our movies that we're talking about today.
All right.
One of them is
So
a
should I-
DVD cover.
Should I kick off for 2015?
Looking at this, the meme you sent, the Game of Thrones Dom one. That's really funny.
Oh, yeah, that one- that's a good one. It's endless. It's become like a sickness, honestly. Like, but they're also getting flooded on my newsfeed. Like, it's the only thing I see now.
Yeah. Alrighty. Yeah, let's go. 2015.
Yeah.
Corey, start us off.
So the one I went with is Steve Jobs, with Fassbender. And this movie, I think it's actually like a really interesting movie. It's definitely a good take on exactly what, those last 15 years of Steve Jobs' life, really what happened. The one thing that's kind of interesting about it is that it's how it's told. The story's told in like a weird, non-linear way. But it's definitely a really good. Oh, Danny Boyle directed it, I believe. I
Yep.
think it's definitely one of my favorite movies that he's directed. Fassbender does a shockingly good Steve Jobs. It's I think it might be like an acquired taste for some people because of how the movie's designed. But I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot more than the the Ashton Kutcher Steve Jobs movie that came out probably like 5 years prior.
No, it came out the same year, didn't it?
I think
I
I
thought
don't
it
think
came
it's
out-
the same year, but I think it's around.
Came
the
out
same
like
time.
before.
It was like I think maybe a year, 2 years before.
I mean, that movie's not bad, and Ashton
I never
Kutcher
saw it.
definitely. I watched it once or twice, and not bad. His performance was very good, but this is infinitely a stronger movie. Seth Rogen was awesome. It just had a really good cast. I would say the only odd thing about it again is just how the movie's structured. It's kind of all over the place. But yeah, Jeff Daniels. I know I'm missing a couple other people that pop up in the movie,
No,
actor-wise.
you said Seth Rogen.
Yeah.
Kate Winslet.
Kay
Oh
Winslet.
yeah, she's the other big name.
I'm just reading
Yeah.
the poster that's on our lovely Twitch
Yeah,
graphic.
those were the 4 big names.
The most interesting
Michael
thing.
Stuhlbarg was in it. He was
Yeah.
he was
Yep.
good in it. He plays
Yeah.
like a beaten down
Mhm.
Apple employee.
Yeah. Probably the most interesting thing for me is how they brought the sets accurately back into the time period that they were trying to depict. And I remember when they were filming the movie, it reminded me a lot of like what Tarantino did with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where they shut down specific areas, in LA or wherever they were filming Cupertino, and like painstakingly changed, the areas to look like those places in that time period. So they definitely nailed that really well. It felt like it was in the 90s and the 80s, 70s, I guess, too. Those time periods that the movie takes place in. But yeah, this is, if you haven't seen it, I definitely give it a shot. I think it's on, I think it might not be on Netflix anymore, but it definitely was recently. Definitely good, and give you a little bit of history on all the turmoil that happened in Apple with when Jobs was there and not there.
Yeah, it's very much like a Sorkin written movie. I
Yep.
loved it in theaters. I haven't watched it in full since then, but
I wish I saw it in theaters. I didn't see it in theaters for whatever reason.
All right, Doug, your pick kind of surprised me, but it makes sense.
Change pick or the
The pick that's
Oh.
on the page now.
He changed it at the last second.
yeah.
What was
Doug
the
will know
original?
now.
What was the original one?
I didn't realize you had like the graphics teed up.
Hateful Eight.
Put
'cause
Hateful
it's
Eight.
right
Ah,
underneath
and,
this Jurassic World poster.
We do typically talk about Quentin Tarantino movies, but not this time.
Yeah. Don't remember enough about Hateful Eight to really talk about.
What was that wiener scene?
Yeah, I picked Jurassic Park or Jurassic World. I think is enjoyable if you can separate it from the Jurassic Park franchise. Once you try to make a Jurassic Park movie, I dislike this movie. When I saw it in theaters, I enjoyed it as just like a mindless action movie. Whenever I think about it as a Jurassic Park fan, I hate it. The raptors being like pets that can like save people. The spies, because it's very against like the Crichton animal list. Like nature is going to be this killing machine that. So then the fact that like the raptors are looking out to protect Chris Pratt's character, especially Blue, just like really feels like it goes against everything in Jurassic Park. Nostalgia elements where they go to the old Jurassic Park facility do much for me because they weren't there very long and they didn't look at very much stuff. T-Rex was cool, but it's a lot of overuse of CGI to the point where none of it really feels real. When they were making this movie, they said that there was going to be a lot of practical involved.
Really?
I don't know. It didn't.
Yeah,
feel
there's
that way to
definitely
me.
not a
Didn't
lot
really
of
feel like there was
practical.
much practical involved.
No.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, totally.
It's, I guess, one of those things to try to get you hyped about the movie, and it spawned a second movie that I disliked even more than the first that had to do with like cloning and super weird. And then we're gonna get a third movie that hopefully will redeem the entire Jurassic World franchise.
Yeah, definitely.
We got the original 3 back.
Yeah, it's a lofty goal. How was the ride? The Jurassic World ride?
We'll see there, but it was good. Really fast roller coaster. There wasn't anything special about it, so
Well, that's just like the
Perfect
Jurassic
for
Park
Great an
franchise.
endorsement.
Yeah. Yeah,
Par for the course.
this movie was just like filler and fluff between dinosaur attacks. Is the way I felt like this movie was when I saw it in theaters.
I remember liking it when it first came out, and then when I saw it the second time, like reflected and then saw it a second time, I was like, this is not good. It's just, but I think because I've been wanting another Jurassic Park movie for so long, and the nostalgia, and I didn't like the previous one. So, but after the first viewing, I was like, this movie is not good. It sucks.
We should have seen this coming because Jurassic Park 3, the guy's got the 3D printed larynx of a
The
raptor,
movie's garbage.
and he talks to the raptors, and they stop
Yeah.
attacking him.
Yep.
That was stupid.
Garbage.
Fucking stupid.
Yeah, they've been getting progressively
was-
dumber.
Yeah.
And the characters just aren't good. Like, that's why I'm hoping the third one,
No.
by bringing back the originals, like, I mean, you have to write them well, though. That's the biggest thing. You can't just rely on Jeff Goldblum, like, just to act out your crappy shit and turn it into gold. It needs to be a well-written script in order for it to work.
Well, they tried that with the last one. They tried to have the 3 minutes of Jeff Goldblum to save them. And
Yeah, they
clearly
conned
didn't
us
work.
in the trailers.
I mean,
Shit.
that one I still have not seen.
And
I
so-
will watch
trailer, and they were like,
Yeah.
I mean, you saw his entire role in the trailer.
That is insane. That's the
Maybe
That's what he's in. my
Like,
god.
he really had, like, a minute of screen time.
so bad.
she got paid for that.
Oh, I'm sure he got
did.
paid handsomely for that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Big
mean, the
time.
amount of money that they made from
It
him
helped their
being in
marketing.
that- Yeah, exactly. That absolutely helped it. Because it really had nothing going for it in this one because they already did the whole Jurassic World. Like, they did the whole theme park being open. It had nothing
Mhm.
going for it. Like, they just say part 2 is essentially just all set up for part 3. And no surprise, it was garbage. So, we'll see if part 3 actually was worth part 2. My guess is no, but
I can't imagine.
We'll know in less than a year.
Yeah, exactly. All right, JP, you got a good movie in yours.
Yeah, I
so
do
let's
have a
hear
good
about
movie.
yours.
Still haven't seen this.
So I have The Martian, which is a Ridley Scott movie in space. Obviously, he loves space. Starring Matt Damon, Jessica Chastain. You got a little Sebastian Stan and Kate Mara in there. It's based off a 2011 novel by Andy Weir, which I read before I watched this movie. And this is one of the rare movies where the movie holds up to being just as good as the novel was. The novel was great because
The novel.
it's all the guy trapped on Mars talking to himself, figuring things out, going through some of the science, and it seems mildly believable. And Matt Damon does a good job with that in this. The one problem I have with this movie is that it's so fucking clear that they're going to save him, and absolutely no one's going to die in the process of saving him, because then it's just a sunk cause. Like, if they go there and 2 people die and they bring 1 guy home, what's the fucking point? So they all end up surviving, I'm pretty sure, at the end. Which is wild, but it's just a really good movie. It's just a guy on Mars talking to himself, doing science and surviving. And Damon does a really, really good job in this. So it's one of those rare movies that I feel like holds up against the novel.
Yeah, it was tough performance for Damon. You really had to carry like so much of the movie alone, and he does a damn good job of it, like Tom Hanks did in Castaway. And he's just really funny in it.
Yeah.
Like, I think
I
that
remem-
was like the biggest thing I got out of his performance was how funny he was.
I remember from the trailer, because like I said, I didn't see the movie. It reminded me a lot of Moon in some ways.
I never seen. I wanted
Yeah,
to.
I mean it's similar.
Yeah, so
Where-
some aspects, like the Matt Damon being alone part, definitely.
in space.
But it's very much an ensemble movie.
Yeah,
Like
I mean,
JP just listed out like 10 big actors,
Mhm.
and I don't even think you said Donald Glover and like a
Oh,
few
I didn't
other
even realize
people.
he's in it.
no,
It's a massive cast.
yeah,
Nice.
I didn't really like the people on the ground. I found
Mhm.
them to be, I don't know, okay. They were like a very tertiary part of this, but the astronauts in the ship and Matt Damon stranded on Mars, just two really good scenes that I loved going back and forth and visiting too. Fucking Sean Bean's in it. Um, Benedict
Jeez.
Wong's in it before he was in the Marvel universe.
Yeah,
He
a year
had some
before.
Yeah.
time, yeah. Michael Pena's in this fucking movie. Jeff Daniels. It's a really really good cast. It's a solid
And
movie.
Jessica Chastain and Matt Damon came right off Interstellar with this one. They
Oh
were both
yeah.
in that. And Matt Damon's role is so similar. Like in Interstellar, he's been stuck alone on like a planet for like forever, waiting for someone to come get him.
I forgot
And
Matt Damon was
similar
in
to
that
Yeah.
movie.
yeah,
So
because
did
he was like
I.
a surprise role in that
Yeah.
movie. Like they didn't market him.
Surprise Matt Damon. It seems to be a thing in Hollywood, and I'm loving
Yeah.
it. You get surprise Matt Damon in Thor movies.
Yeah,
Surprise Matt Damon in
it's true.
Interstellar. He's gonna be
It's
in the
pretty
new
great.
Thor movie, so it's not
Hmm
gonna be that big of a surprise, but I can't wait. Yeah, this is a great movie. I don't think I've watched it since theaters, but I think I'm going to now.
There you go. All right, that's The Martian. And Corey, you should watch this on 4K. I'm sure it looks amazing.
It's
Yeah.
probably a beautiful movie.
Good call.
Doug, you should too. Like, because you love 4K.
He does love 4K.
He certainly does.
Like the
I've heard
oranges on
there's like a
Mars.
significant difference.
Yeah,
Murph, you have a movie.
I've heard it looks great in 4K.
Yeah, I'll bet.
true. I have a movie. I do have a movie.
You have a movie. I mean,
I have a movie.
it's like,
Um,
it's a moving picture.
I went with this year was weird. But I went with one that was a pleasant surprise for me. Spy, the Melissa McCarthy one, directed by Paul Feig. This was a year that had a Bond movie, Kingsman, and I definitely have watched Spy more than all three of them combined. And I probably like this one the most. It would be either this one or Mission Impossible, Rogue Nation. And I think because if Fallout was better than Rogue Nation, I would just give this the leg up on Rogue Nation. It's got hilarious performances from Jason Statham and Rose Byrne. Like their two funniest performances ever. Melissa McCarthy isn't as outlandish as like you would expect. She's just more of like the person being put in all these crazy situations that like she's ill-equipped to handle. But like she's a completely like straight-laced type of character, which is different from like the over-the-top characters that I think we don't enjoy from her.
Yeah.
So that really surprised me. Jude Law also has a funny performance in the film. Who else do we got in this one? Bobby Cannavale, Peter Serafinowicz, another hilarious one. He's Pete in Shaun of the Dead. Oh yeah, 50 Cent's in it. So it's got random ass people as well. Gabe from The Office. Yeah, a lot. Damn, now like a lot of people that became names after the fact, or were just starting like their comedy career. But yeah, Rose Byrne plays like a awesome like type of like Bond femme fatale villain, and it's definitely her funniest thing. Like she's the person I would recommend the most from it, like to watch it. 'Cause she was great at Neighbors, but I guess
love
this
Rose
came
Byrne.
out. This came out like
Yeah,
the
she's
year
awesome.
a year after Neighbors, and she's like way funnier in this one because she gets to be like ridiculous in it. Yeah, Jason Statham's character just always like talks about all the ridiculous situations he survived, and they're just like beyond like insane. Like nobody can live from him, and he's just trying to always one up everyone else. And it's really like a different type of character for him than like all the badasses he plays in other movies where he actually does do these things. Like you don't believe he's actually like that big a badass in this, which is funny. But yeah, like I said, this was a year I was super excited about. All Spectre ultimately disappointed. I did enjoy it, but it was a letdown from Skyfall.
Yeah.
Rogue Nation, I was very happy with. I thought it was a step up from Ghost Protocol, and probably peak Mission Impossible outside of the first one at the time. But ultimately, like I said, I liked Fallout more. And Kingsman was a pleasant surprise. I know none of us were like had the highest of expectations when it came out, but we were all happy with it when it did.
Yeah.
And we've talked about it a lot over the past year. But yeah, this was one that ultimately didn't make enough money, so we never got. But it would have been cool to get one. I mean, they followed up this with the Ghostbusters movie, and that was just a massive disappointment. And had none of the like intelligence or humor that this one had.
Yeah, this was
Yeah,
one
and I think
I stayed the fuck away because I don't like Paul Feig and I don't like Melissa McCarthy. So
Yeah.
this is
I'm right
one I
there
never
with you.
really checked
Yeah.
out.
yeah, I think this one benefited from the
Forgot
fact that
about this movie.
he
I
was
saw
the
it
only
too, and
writer. Because there's some co-writers he's worked with on the Heat and Ghostbusters,
Yeah, the
and
woman
those
he
movies.
worked with the Ghostbusters is like
I hated both of those
empty
movies.
vessel.
Well, I didn't hate. I hated the Heat. I thought it was a terrible. Ghostbusters was bad. So again, not that like that's not an endorsement at all. I didn't like either. But like when he just freaks and geeks on his own, when he did this, he didn't. I don't think he wrote Bride. No, he didn't even write Bridesmaids. That was
Oh, really?
Kirsten Wiig, and somebody else. But when he does his own shit that he writes, I think he's very good. So
Yeah.
yeah, Doug, you said you saw it.
yeah, I've seen this movie. I liked it. I thought it was good. Yeah, I thought it was really funny. I don't know why out some movies she wanted to see, and I thought it was gonna be. I kind of like JP was like, this is probably gonna be terrible. And it wound up being really funny.
Yeah, I had no intention
Completely
of
forgot
seeing
that this
it
movie existed.
until the reviews were really positive. I'm looking now as a that was the only reason why I saw it. I the trailers didn't do anything for me, but I was like, all right, this people are actually saying it's legit, so I just gave it a shot and was pleasantly surprised.
Cool.
All right,
Jude Law's pretty funny in this movie too.
yeah, yeah, and he's kind of he's mostly playing to his strong suits, but it has a little bit of a little twists to his character that make it a little bit different. All right. Extra picks, JP. You had a couple?
The two runner-ups. This one is just one that I remember seeing in the movie theater. It is Everest with Jake Gyllenhaal, and fucking Thanos is in it, and
We did this right before the Golden Mile.
yeah. Who else was in this movie? This was a good movie. It was intense as hell, and I remember it being a really cold theater, so it gave you the feel of being out and up on Everest and freezing your butt off, and it's just
yeah. We had Brolin, Joel Edgerton, right?
yeah. It was
Or was it Jason Clark? Was it
Jason
Edgerton
Clark, right? This was like
Jason?
This was the Jason Clark renaissance before
Yeah.
he disappeared. And then Jake Gyllenhaal and Josh Brolin, Keira Knightley. It was cool.
Yeah, because it followed like their wives, like them
Yeah.
dealing with everything that was going on from their perspective.
It's a bleak ass movie. Like,
Yeah.
don't watch this one to feel good, but it's cool.
Or like pretty much everyone. Yeah.
Yeah.
One more like setting up. Okay.
But like Everest is just it. I've always loved Mount Everest. It's just like the lore behind it and the people that go up and never come back is pretty nuts. I don't know why you would ever do that. And then that's Sicario, which Sicario was a fucking awesome movie.
Yeah, really good movie.
Super stylized. I thought it was just a really neat action movie. then I don't know if the sequels were any good or not. I never saw them. Or the
It
sequel.
was okay.
Yeah, I liked it, but definitely not as good as the first.
Yeah, just another Josh Brolin thing, and Benicio is just a fucking animal in it. And
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
just,
Yeah, Benicio was great.
Was
Emily
it,
Blunt was
Emily
great.
Blunt?
Emily
yeah,
Blunt in
was
an
really
action
good.
movie, sure, like all day.
Yeah.
Wonderful movie. Just like a good action movie. Those are my two.
Then we had some shout outs. In the Marvel verse, we had Ant-Man and Age of Ultron, Avengers. I mean, Corey and I were just talking about Age of Ultron this weekend and how like it was ultimately kind of disappointing,
Yeah.
but not like a bad movie, but like for the MCU and in comparison to the Avengers, what came before and after, it was a
Mhm.
disappointment.
Yeah, I've watched it within the last 4 months or so, just because once you finish one of the Marvel TV shows, it's always there.
Mhm.
So it's been on. It's yeah. They tried to do too much. They tried to make it too dark, and it just wasn't good enough.
Yeah. Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Oh, one of the funny things about Simon Pegg's Q&A that he did this week, they asked him about Ant-Man, and he's like, I've read Edgar Wright's script. It was better.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't
I'm
doubt
sure.
that for a minute.
Yeah,
I mean, what could have
Um,
been?
exactly.
I'm sure it was.
I'll always have a thing against Ant-Man for that. But it was better than that, like I expected after all that
Mhm.
drama behind the scenes.
It's
Yeah.
a good middle Marvel movie.
Yeah, it's there.
Yeah.
It brought
I like-
Paul Rudd into it, and he's done cool things in like Civil War and
I think I like the sequel
Endgame.
more.
Yeah, I've only seen the sequel the one time. I can't really remember. We've got The Big Short.
Scariest movie I've ever seen.
Still haven't seen it. Need to.
I don't know if you can even is it a comedy or is it a drama?
It's the
it is.
scariest movie I've ever seen in my life.
It is definitely dark. Definitely
Yeah, I've heard
bleak,
people say it's terrifying.
but
more
it's
so than
also like a very funny
funny.
movie.
Yeah, it's funny.
'Cause, I mean, Adam McKay does it, so
It's informative too, to some degree, and
yeah.
Yeah, that's his MO.
it's just a quirky, horrifying drama horror movie about
Yeah.
money.
An all-star cast.
It's got
The four leads are incredible.
Margaret Robbie in a hot tub or in a bathtub. So
It does.
pretty good.
Then we mentioned Spectre earlier. Did you guys have any other thoughts on this one?
Yeah,
Am I the only one who thought it was disappointing?
Nah, it was a letdown, especially with that
Yeah.
star power. Christoph, Waltz
Yeah, I
is
didn't really-
fucking Blofeld. They did,
Christoph Waltz
they
was
did
the
the
only.
Dougie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They did the fucking Dougie.
The movie in
I mean-
itself wasn't really disappointing to me. Just his presence was. Christoph Waltz. He was definitely underutilized.
Yeah, hopefully they give him some better stuff to do in the new one.
I forgot he was in
I don't
that.
know if he's just gonna have one scene or if he's gonna have a bigger role than the trailers.
They're gonna team
Mhm.
up.
Lead us to believe.
Austin and Dougie
Mhm.
are gonna team up to save the world.
To defeat what's his face?
Goldmember.
Freddie Mercury. Yeah, to defeat Goldmember. All right.
Here we go. This is the real entertaining part of this segment.
Or we fumble with movies. A lot of movies that
All
we
right.
seen and haven't seen.
Let's
I'm
get
bringing
right
them
into
up.
them.
All right.
The Meddler.
Susan Sarandon, J.K. Simmons, Rose Byrne.
Ooh,
It's very
good cast.
It's got a good cast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know if I've ever heard of it though.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever heard of it.
Wait, let me look at the poster on the screen. Is it on the screen yet? I'm
No,
still
I
seeing
don't. I don't
Spy.
have these ones, dude. These
Oh,
these came up
okay.
at Twitch. Chat. I'm not that fast.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not sure about the Meddler, but it's got a good cast.
It's, after the death of her husband, a woman, Susan Sarandon, moves from New Jersey to Los Angeles to be closer with her daughter, Rose Byrne.
Ooh,
And I'm
big,
sure all
big year
sorts
for
of,
Rose Byrne.
all sorts of romance and drama, since it is a romance and drama, ensue.
There you
I
go.
don't remember this one.
Okay, you're gonna have to add to your queue, Corey.
Yeah.
The Man from U.N.C.L.E., which was another spy movie in 2015. I just haven't seen it. I want to see it.
I want to
It's
see
on
it
my watch
too.
list.
It's
It's been on
got
my
a
watch
good
list for
cast.
5 years. Yeah, it's got
Yeah.
a really good cast.
It's got Army Hammer. He eats people.
Yeah.
It's got
Pre-
Superman in it.
Pre-cannibalism.
At least as far as we know, pre-cannibalism.
It's really Batman
Known
versus
cannibalism.
Superman if you think about it, because Army Hammer was going to be Batman. Henry Cavill became Batman.
Yeah. And then who is it? Alicia Vikander, and who's the other female in it? There's like a fourth big name, if I remember correctly. Oh, Elizabeth Debicki from Tenet.
Yeah,
and
Guardians
too.
too.
So yeah, Hugh Grant, Jared Harris, fantastic cast.
Yeah.
That's it. Guy Ritchie.
Yes, I believe so.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely got. Doug, have
yeah,
you seen this one?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. It's interesting because I think Henry, if I'm remembering it correctly, Henry Cavill plays the American agent and Army agent, which is weird
Interesting.
because
That's an interesting choice.
Yeah,
it's
that
reversed
is.
in real life.
Well, no, Army Hammer is a KGB agent. He's Russian.
KGB.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I screwed that up.
Nah,
That's
it's
okay.
cool though. They flopped him in. It seemed like a funny movie. I mean, Guy Ritchie obviously is gonna have some top quality banter. I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is one I definitely want to watch.
Well, if Doug hadn't seen it, I'd say maybe this should be a movie club movie. All right. Then we got Room, Brie Larson, Jacob Tremblay. Super depressing, like movie. It's the one where they're trapped in a room for half of it. I guess like at least 5 years. Truly horrible. And then it just gets as depressing when they get out. She tries to adjust back to life, back to normal as much as you can try to do in a situation like that when you're kidnapped. So yeah, really good one. She won Best Actress for it. Made Jacob Tremblay start to do movies like Good Boys and Luca. But yeah, you guys have seen this one?
I haven't.
No.
Stay the fuck away from shit like this.
Yeah. The Danish Girl with Eddie Redmayne and Alicia Vikander.
It's the second one for her.
Yeah, she won Best Supporting Actress for this one. Never seen it.
Wholesome Amber Heard's in this movie as well. She's a good person.
Oh, is she really?
Yeah.
But yeah, I've heard good things about this one. Pitch Perfect 2.
Green Bay Packers are in this one.
I think we talked about the first one
Solid
fairly recently.
sequel. This is a good one.
Green Bay Packers are in this one. Never seen it, but
They
I
are.
support it wholeheartedly.
I remember the dude from what is it, Workaholics. He had some funny stuff with what's her face, Rebel Wilson.
Yeah, it's a really fun movie.
Doing a great job naming people. But yeah, that movie was funny from what I remember. Corey, you've seen this one, Sleeping with Other People.
Yeah, this is a really, really funny movie. I like this a lot. Alison Brie and again,
Ted Lasso.
Jason
yeah, Ted Lasso,
Sudeikis,
man. Jason Sudeikis, yeah.
Adam Scott, Amanda Peet.
Good guess.
Yeah, I know I recommended this to you, Murph, but I think Doug, I think you and JP would really enjoy this. I think your significant others would enjoy it too.
It's got Raffi from The League in it. I love him and everything. He's fucking hilarious.
Jason Mantzoukas.
Yeah, he's fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
He's great.
Yeah, it's a legitimately like really funny movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and it's very adult. It's an interesting plot for sure, and they're really good together. Alison Brie and Jason Sudeikis, good chemistry.
Yeah, Alison Brie, known for her chemistry, known for her personality. Sorry.
The Age of Adeline. Harrison Ford was in this one, right?
He was.
It was a Blake Lively movie, but Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
Odd reason, and like it was the year like he did Force Awakens movie as well.
So what was he just like a supporting? He was in like a super supporting role.
I think so. Maybe he was a main supporting role, but I remember the trailers and being like, "Oh, Harrison Ford's in this shit. Interesting."
What do you play like your dad?
Not that I thought it actually looked decent from the trailers.
Because I'm pretty sure it says Blake Lively is remained a youthful 29-year-old, 29 years of age for nearly 8 decades.
A lot.
So
a lot of time.
She's like immortal. I'm imagining that Harrison Ford.
A vampire?
It says nothing about vampirism.
No, it
but
definitely was not a vampire.
It's probably
She a
love
ghoul?
magic because it's
She's
a ro-
definitely a ghoul.
it's a romance fantasy. So I don't know if she's a ghoul, but probably some kind of love magic.
Behind the scenes, she's a ghoul.
Obviously,
They just
I mean, it's
didn't,
Blake
they just
Lively.
didn't
She's
get.
clearly a ghoul.
They didn't get into that part.
Well, I love my ghouls. I might have to check this one out.
Oh, I will shout out to Star Wars: Force Awakens. That was just awesome seeing that one in theaters.
Yes, it
Since
was.
we are talking about Harrison Ford, and it gave me so much hope for that show.
That is the first movie that I've actually genuinely fallen asleep in a movie theater watching. Because
Force Awakens.
yeah, because one night I tried to go watch it for like the third time, and it was like 9:30.
Oh, okay. I was like,
Showing,
I
I
don't
was-
think you fell asleep the first time.
Yeah, I had been doing stuff before, and I got about halfway through it, and I was falling asleep, and I just got up and I walked out of the movie theater. It was down the street,
Yeah.
so I was just like, you know what? I fucking see
Who cares? Exactly. And then the last one, The Invitation. Which one is this?
I have no idea who any of these people are in this movie.
Okay.
I was shown the trailer for this recently. It looks really interesting. It
had a $1
don't know if
million
it's
budget.
kind of a horror movie. It's like a thriller.
Yeah, it's got an 89 Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Oh, Logan Marshall Green. He was in Spider-Man: Homecoming. He's Shocker, the original Shocker.
The
Oh,
guy
okay.
that just gets
The
disintegrated.
Vulture. Yeah, exactly.
That's such a small character.
Oh, you know John Carroll Lynch. He's in it too. He was the Zodiac.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's Bubble Boy's dad.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, and he's in The Founder too. Love that movie. Probably
Mhm.
watch that again this year. Goddamn good movie.
But yeah, this one I've heard of, but I never actually saw.
Yeah, this is another one on like my short list that I was intrigued by the trailer when I was shown it.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. It looks like it was well received and everything.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Cool.
we're learning new things.
That's it, right? For 2015.
That's all we have, I believe.
Yeah.
Only 5 years to go now, and we are all caught up.
Yeah.
Crazy. Time flies.
It does.
Both in this real world with these movies and with this podcast.
Yeah, time
I'd
must
say
have
that
flown
this-
for Blake Lively when she was a lively 29-year-old for 8 decades, and also a ghoul.
And
Yeah.
more importantly, a ghoul.
I kind of want to watch that. I want to look into that movie now and see what she was.
She's definitely not a ghoul, man.
Nah, probably
Romance
not.
movie.
Unfortunately not.
Vampire ghoul.
Nah.
But yeah, that's all she wrote. Next week we'll talk 2016. It was a terrible year for film, if I remember, like really bad. So I'll be interested to see what everyone ends up picking.
Oh,
Worse than 2020.
Suicide Squad came out this year. It's
Yes,
Corey's favorite movie.
I would take 2020 over 2016.
Yeah,
It was like really bad.
2016 is fucking rough.
So we might just all pick memorable shitty movies in 2016.
Ooh, this is bad.
Did
I don't know.
man.
All
right, make the thing. I'm
Batman
picking
versus
mine. I'm
Superman?
picking mine already.
I nearly probably saw more movies in 2020 in theater, and there wasn't a pandemic keeping me in theater.
I dibs my movie. It's in the outline. So. I dibs it.
So yeah, get your shitty 2016 movies ready to go this week,
All right.
and we'll talk about them then. All right, gang. Appreciate you watching. Hopefully, you check out some of these 2015 movies if you haven't yet, and let us know your thoughts.
Have a good rest of the week.
We will talk to you later.
Bye.
See ya.